Oh, what a sucker punch that is. That's why, 2-0. And he hits it to win the match.
Tops for 1-1-4 and he moves 3-2 in front.
Double 16 for the opener. And there it is, John O'Shea, part one done.
Welcome to the Modus Super Series once again. Series 8 is up and running. This is week 3 and Group B is about to get underway. I'm Paul Nicholson and we've had a fabulous week so far. Group C did start this afternoon. We've had a brilliant Group A, haven't we? Because that was record-breaking in many different ways. But as we start Group B this evening, it's a pleasure of mine to bring along the blonde bombshell, as she's always known in my book. Laura, very, very nice to have you back. Yeah. How are you feeling?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, if the likes of the players that we saw in Group A can actually bring that form, then yeah, very exciting for what's going to happen tonight.
Group C was very interesting indeed this afternoon. We saw Rhys Robinson doing Rhys Robinson things, but it was Lee Cox and Rhys Robinson that found themselves at the top of the table on 8 points. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think everyone's going to probably look back at this afternoon session and just think, you know, they've got more gears that they can find. For Lee Cox, for me, he probably actually showed the most consistency in terms of averages and his finishing. But the important thing for these players, you know, there's only 2 players that go through in Group C. So the important thing for the likes of Cox and Robinson is the fact that they're top of the table. Well,
interestingly, the checkout that we've just seen, 120 with 3 double tops, is something we haven't seen a great deal. But this afternoon we saw it twice. And one of them was to complete the entire afternoon. But what a wonderful afternoon it was. The table for the group is a really interesting one because we have 5 players looking to get into the top 2 spots, don't we? But maybe Nell Cullerton has been cut adrift.
Yeah, completely and utterly. I couldn't agree more. I think you can't really go. There's only 2 days, obviously, of playing Group C, and to go without a win, it's very, very hard. You're very reliant on everything going perfect for you and going very, very wrong for those people at the top. I think the outlier for me, the one that may cause a bit of trouble, is Rowlands. I think he's still in that race, but the dominant 2 were Robinson and Cox.
Well, let's have a look at the breakdown for the week and see how things have panned out so far. Andreas Harrison with a wonderful campaign, and we'll talk about the numbers for that in due course. But we've got Group B coming up tonight, and you've mentioned Group C already, Laura. As far as Group B is concerned tonight, what really sticks out for you?
Just the quality, all 5 of them. I mean, you know, you've got to pick 2 that don't go through this group, which I think is actually really difficult. But the way that Morris and Henderson played in their Group A campaigns, if they can carry on with that, if they've got, for want of a better word, momentum, if they can carry that into today, then they're going to be a handful for anyone. And it's just how the other 3, obviously coming here cold, haven't been on the stage recently, or as recently as yesterday anyway. I just think it's how they kick off their campaigns. But any 3 of those go through, it wouldn't surprise me.
John Henderson will come into this group tonight full of beans, and as far as his finishing and his maximum scoring are concerned, he was doing great things all week long, and he looks the real business at the minute, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. I mean, you look at his figures, and obviously we'll go into them throughout the course of the evening, but you look at the figures and you think, how did he not top that group? And I think that was just this sheer dominance of Harrison, to be fair. But yeah, anything like that, normally that would win you a Group A campaign. And yeah, I think if he carries on, he should be topping the table here in Group B.
What chance do you give John O'Shea over the next couple of days? Because he has made Saturdays before and he has played in a Champions Week. But with this quality of a Group B, how do you assess his chances over the next couple of nights?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for John. Obviously, I think from what I've seen of John, especially over recently, he can be quite up and down. He needs to find that level of consistency at a high level and do it quite quickly. Otherwise, a bit like Cullerton in Group C, you can find yourself cut adrift very, very quickly. But he's not a player to ever write off. He's got a lot of fight in him and a lot of self-belief as well. And you need that as a dart player. So for me, yeah, he can do it, but he's going to have to find his feet quick.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the odds compilers think of this, because some players, when they look at this, they see extra motivation, don't they? And when John O'Shea is second favourite, will he think that maybe that is about right for him?
I think John would think that. I think me personally, I probably may have put Tommy Morris a little bit higher just based on the numbers that he was posting as well. But as you mentioned, he's played in a Champions Week and he's made 2 Saturdays out to John O'Shea. So yeah, even Ross Montgomery, he's another one. He's made the Saturday. So the odds compilers, they might not quite have got it right, but who am I to say?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Tommy Morris has got to say, because he was in the middle of the pack there and he did very well to get himself into Group B. So let's have a little look at what Tommy had to say before play commences tonight. He's going to take on Alex Small in our very first game. But let's see what Tommy said before action started tonight. Hi, Tommy. Welcome to your fourth day here in week 3 of Series 8. How are you feeling after Group A?
Feeling excited, really. I mean, the guys that I'm sharing the night with and tomorrow night with, they're just such a great laugh. I speak to them and chat with them on the challenge tour. It's a nice atmosphere in the room, which is a good start for me.
You must be really pleased with your level of performance this week, because looking at your numbers, you've only averaged under 90 3 times in 15 attempts. That must make you feel really good about your efforts this week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been here lots of times now, and I know the expectations of what I've got to do. And I'm quite proud of myself in some ways, because I use it around that 30 mark near enough every game. So, yeah, I'm sort of in the mix still. If I could continue that, I think I'm going to go wrong. So,
what do you think you've got to do over the next couple of nights to get into Saturday once again?
Just keep doing what I'm doing and go up a gear. I know there's plenty of gears for me to do. I'm all learning. I'm only 31 still, so there's plenty of time left in me. Just got to do what I got to do.
Do you think there's an opportunity here to catch the new guys cold, like Alec, like Ross, like John?
Yeah.
Because your last few days have been very hot in a very competitive Group A situation.
Definitely. I mean, that, like I said in the interview last time, it was the hardest group I've ever been in, with the current seniors world champion, the current Modus champion. It was an honour to play against them, and having darts to beat them both was another thing as well. So I find playing the 5 days, just keep going and going. You're at a pace, when they're coming in fresh, they've got to warm to the stage as well. I'm already warmed into it, so that's the way of looking at it that I do anyway.
Well, sorry to see you're not going to get your early night at 10:30 tonight.
It's one of them.
What we can say is you can have a great deal of fun over the next couple of nights, and we hope to see you on Saturday.
Thanks, mate.
Really nice to hear from Tommy there, who will come into this group with a lot of positivity, because over the last 3 days, in my opinion, and the stats back it up, he is reaching new heights with his statistics. But he's up against Alex Small in his first game of the week. The man from Wales, who you cannot miss with that hugely impressive dart shirt. And when Tommy Morris is in the building, everybody's in a good mood, because he's always in a good mood. And as a result of that, so are we, Laura. So bring on 10 matches tonight.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling this is going to be one of those matches. It's going to be a, blink and you miss it, because both of these guys do not hang around on the Yoki.
It's Alec to throw first. Game on.
If you like things good and fast, you've come to the right place.
57.
Best of 7 legs throughout, and this is Group B. So if you are joining us for the very first time, thank you very much for your company. But if you are a regular viewer of the Modus Super Series, welcome back.
60.
Alex Small has been to Saturdays before. He would love to make it again, but coming through this group is going to be very,
68.
very difficult. Every player in this group has made it to a Saturday night, so they all know how to do it.
38.
It's just a question of which 2 players of the 5 will not make it this week.
Yeah, and that's the difficult question, isn't it? It's everyone's got the quality. I just don't see this group with anyone really, really running away with it. Perhaps if we see the stats from the likes of HENDO, he definitely has the chance to do that. But the qualities here, they're all going to put a lot of pressure on each other.
Yeah, we'll talk about John's stats when he comes to the Oki to take on John O'Shea in Game 2. And that game has got a lot of people's name on it, because
30.
they're the kind of games we want here in Portsmouth. Tommy looking for an opening ton plus checkout with an equipment change this week. He's been spending a lot of time with Niall Cullerton, and I think the stem and flight combination that he's using now is purely because of Niall's recommendation, and I think it might be a good change. Steps off for dart 3.
30.
He will return. Alex still finding his feet. And as mentioned in his pre-match interview,
56.
there is a chance here for him to catch some people cold, because in his own words, he's already warmed up to the stage.
Game's on the first leg.
And he's already
Tommy
in there
Morris.
for a break of throw. Tommy the Gun is 1-0 up.
Second leg, it's Tommy to throw
So let's get into it
first.
then.
Game on.
Get a load of these numbers because these correlate to the person who came
99.
third in Group A. Just think about that for a second. If you're a regular viewer, you might know some of the usual
100.
numbers that are associated with group winners from the first 3 days of the week. But Tommy,
83.
93.9 as an average for 15 games. That is impressive. 43% on his doubles
100.
for 3 days action. 7 maximums. And he only averaged
99.
under 90 3 times out of those 15 games. That is for the person who was third.
97.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Tommy speak before the matches got underway, and he said himself he found himself in the hardest group he'd ever been in before.
140.
And he also said he had levels. He's got more levels. I don't disbelieve him, and it'd be great to see them come out tonight.
I couldn't agree more. I think there is another level.
128.
play.
Tommy require 80.
Can he double his lead? He's going to stay on the right-hand side.
40.
You can
Alex
see from that
requires
camera
76.
angle, he did have plenty of room over the top of that second dart.
Game shot on the
He's
second.
got no room
leg.
to work with
Alex
anymore
Small.
because Alex Small has closed the gap.
Third leg, it's Alec to throw first. Game on.
That was a remarkable group. But I think if
25.
we're being fair to everybody who was in that group, including Cullerton and Robinson,
100.
that may have been the best Group A we've ever had. I think the stats back it up. It's very easy to sit here and say that when
100.
you've experienced it in the last 72 hours. But I think the numbers back up the fact that it is the
60.
best Group A we've had. And Tommy should be proud of the fact that he's made Group B because at one point it was Gilbert
101.
van der Meijden who nearly nicked the third spot away from him.
Yeah, well, they both finished with 7 wins out of the 15 on 14 points, so it just came down to those fine margins, but Morris found a way and just did
59.
enough, and such an advantage being in this Group B. 3 go through. Well, I say that, but you look at the depth, the quality, perhaps Group C may have been a nicer option.
If I may be honest, this afternoon the quality was a bit of a drop from Group A. It always was
56.
going to be, but if Tommy was in that Group C this afternoon, he would have butchered it. He would have taken people apart.
And he would
65.
have got his nice 10:30 and a night time.
Yeah. Sorry, Tommy. So, when you win this match, I suppose you can have a nap,
81.
For about
And you record
15 minutes.
167.
but don't nap in the game because this man is hanging around. And that was almost our third
142.
167 of the week.
Tommy record 145.
Double 14 to hit back.
117. Alec, you require 25.
Yeah, 2 massive finishes missed back to back. And this for a holder throw for Small.
9.
Oh, he missed the
Tommy
line.
required 28.
He gets the line there. That dot bumps it in.
Game shot on the third.
No
leg.
bumpers needed
Tommy
there.
Morris.
And both wiping their brow. And I think this is a sign now as we go
Fourth leg, it's
into
Tommy to throw
the
first.
later part
Game
of
on.
June here in Portsmouth. Even though we are playing at night, it is quite warm on that stage.
41.
We've had players say in the last few weeks that this is the best hockey
58.
they have thrown on. And that leads me to asking you, Laura, what you thought of it because you played on it recently.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my experience here.
125.
Rather nervous, I guess would be the right word, before coming in here. But yeah, it kind of lends
97.
itself to this kind of calming, peaceful atmosphere. And as you say, I would be in agreement. One of the best hockeys that I've thrown on.
85.
I'm pleased that I actually managed to eventually get over the line and win a couple.
100.
And the halfway point of the leg for Tommy. He would dearly like to get off to a hot start.
99.
His schedule tonight, he's got O'Shea in game 4. He will have the darts in that match.
100.
He has a
Tommy
rematch with
required
Henderson in game
151.
7. And let us remind you that he has not beaten John this week.
190.
But he's playing very, very well here. Strangely, it feels a lot better than it is.
Required 32.
Yeah, thinking the same. And I think the pace of the pair of them lend itself to that. They don't hang around.
No score. And you require
And
82.
that's been the Achilles heel for both players in this match.
Tops, and it's a big dart.
62. Tommy, you require
He worked
32.
very hard to get that chance. He might not get another. Can he squeeze it through the middle?
60.
He goes through
And he
both
requires
darts, but he
20.
doesn't register the point in the bed.
Yeah, double five for another break of throw.
Game shot on the
It is a break of
forfeit.
throw, and that's
Alex
hands
Small.
up there from Alex Small.
Don't worry, Alec, you're not under arrest.
Fifth air gets Alec to throw first. Game on.
You do get players that just it's a natural reaction to kind of think, oh, I pinched that one, but inside you're just thinking yes.
80.
And for Alec now back on throw, if he can now find a way to hold.
I think he just had a bit of a nasty bounce out there for his own flight, and it might have been quite close to the
56.
referee. Somebody get on some Kevlar. Yeah, it's quite the shirt, isn't it?
130.
Wild card. Well, if that's a good nickname that he's going to stick by, I'm going to go with that. I
140.
think it's great.
Yeah, I kind of like the ever-increasing artistic license that people seem to
58.
have when it comes to the design of dart shirts.
Yeah, Tommy's is very synonymous with him. He was playing on his Bullseye
93.
Challenge a little bit earlier this week, and when it breaks onto our social media sites, you may want to not be
99.
drinking anything at the time, because you are going to burst into a very big LOL. Because he does have some ammunition up his sleeve, and that's the only hint I'm going to give you.
94. Alec, you require
Well, he has
130.
called the gun. I guess it's for no reason, not for any reason.
65 left.
And Morris has had control in this game more than
84.
once.
Tommy require 180.
It's just a question of whether he can get it again. He's not going to get it here. And for the first time in the
82.
match,
Alec, you
Alex
require
Small has got a
46.
chance to lead.
26.
And yet he
Tommy
might not. This
requires
game is like a
36.
yo-yo competition. You don't know whether it's up or down or somewhere in
Game
between,
shot
but
the
now
fifth
it's
air.
another break of
Tommy
throw.
Morris.
And that's now 5 of them.
Yeah, ever a time
Sixth air gets
that you want to
Tommy throw
hold for
first.
Tommy Morris,
Game
it's now, because you still don't want to give that advantage. I know it doesn't seem like it actually is an advantage in this match, but trust me, at 3 apiece, it really is.
99. $30.
In a weird sort of way, this is the worst that Tommy's played all week, and he's still got a chance of winning.
121.
Winning is a habit. And it's a very good one. So I've been told.
60.
Yeah, I've heard that rumour.
One of the reasons why he's changed
59.
to this flight and stem combination as well is because we had a swap darts challenge earlier in the week, and I think when he used something different, he saw something in this stuff which straightened his darts up, because they were kinking a little
140.
bit left, and now they're dead straight. And he's on track
95.
to get his
Tommy
first win in
require
Group B
82.
right now. Double 16
Game
gives him
shot
that
out
first
the
win.
match, Tommy Morris.
After a yo-yo match of breaks everywhere, it is leg 6 that gives us our first hold of throw, and the first 2 points that Tommy Morris yields in his effort to make Saturday once again. 12 misses on the outer ring, so not his best effort, but he did get enough chances in the end. Alex Small will have to bounce back when he plays Ross Montgomery in game number 3. Well, if you are here for the Hendo party, you won't have to wait long, because he's playing next. Party time, isn't it? Because John Henderson's back. And he is not happy that he is playing over the next couple of days. But if he plays to the level that he did in Group A, I don't think he's going to have much of a problem, quite frankly. But now that he's up against the Joker, this is the kind of game that we want to see, isn't it? Reputations on the line, going up against each other. Two juggernauts of darts from across the Irish Sea. Scotland and Ireland against each other. We love it. And this man is back, the World Master from 2019. An unforgettable 3 or 4 days in Purfleet. And he's looking to introduce a little bit more Cork-style chaos against the most beloved man from Huntly in northern Scotland, who, take it from us, played some stunning stuff over the last 3 days. But it wasn't good enough to win Group A. The glory of that went to Sweden and to Andreas Harrison, who has probably got his feet up right now, saying very little and rubbing his hands together, saying, ha ha ha, you still got to try and get to Saturday, and I'm already there.
John O'Shea to throw first.
Yeah, he is in that
Game on.
enviable position of already confirming Saturday night. But as you say, if John Henderson can produce anything like what he's done before, he is going to be a handful. But hang on a minute.
121.
John was going to kick off with a max.
Very wise choice, John, taking care of the one. You've got to hit it at some point. But without further ado, why don't we talk about what John did in Group A? Because when you get your gills around his numbers, it is quite frightening to think that he did not win the group
100.
with his running average, with the amount of maxes he hit, and the overall level of play that he brought. Because it would have won, in my
41.
opinion, every Group A situation from the previous series. But when you're up against the defending champion in Andreas Harrison, you just need something from another planet. 94.61 as an average for the group that wasn't good enough. 27 maximums.
95.
47% on doubles. You heard that right. Nearly 50% on doubles for 3 days wasn't good enough.
100.
Yeah, but you've got a feeling here, John O'Shea, he's got the memo. He knows he has to kick off quick.
100. Johnny require 40.
Down to tops and just 12, and this for the opening leg.
Game shot in the
Yeah,
first.
and it is the opening leg, and 13 darts for John O'Shea.
He's setting the tone then. I like the idea that the Joker's got a fax machine getting the memo.
First. Game on.
You got a favourite Joker, Laura? Of all of the crop of Jokers that we've had?
I think we did this before.
81.
Happy to talk about it again.
Probably. Yeah, I think they all add different elements. I mean, you can go proper classic, but Heath Ledger, I think, is going to be.
100.
I think Heath Ledger's going to be my favourite. What about you?
Yeah, I do like the Dark Knight series. They're all a bit sinister in their own way. And when it comes to
100.
darts, John is the same when he's in the right mood. If he's in the mood, he can do some special things.
57.
I wonder how many Joker references we're going to see over the next couple of days, or possibly 3.
Yes, indeed.
100.
As I say, the conversations that we've had have very much been about what we've seen from Henderson, what we've seen from Tommy Morris so far, but we haven't seen these other 3 players.
84.
They could really upset what we feel is kind of, you know, the top 2 players to presumably go through.
One thing we have seen already
100.
from a leg and a half from O'Shea is that he's starting better than Alex Small did. He started fairly cold.
82.
Whereas O'Shea has come in here looking pretty solid.
120.
Now, we have seen 2 120 checkouts today alone from 3 double tops. What is occurring with these players at the minute and the kind of things they're
100.
doing? We've seen an attempt on a 9-darter with 3 bullseyes this week. I don't know what's on that players brief they get when they're invited here.
56.
You must go for something Hollywood
Johnny
style.
required
I
20.
promise you it's not on there.
Game shot in the second.
But that is
John
exactly what
Henderson.
John is looking for. He's found a leg in 16 darts there.
Third leg, it's John O'Shea to throw first. Game on.
Scotland had to settle for a 1-1 draw last night, as did England
99.
this afternoon against Denmark. So honours even with two of the home nations at the Euros, and honours even here at 1-1.
100.
John O'Shea had a very, very strong opinion about the England performance, by the way. Imagine having John O'Shea as the England manager. You'd do as you're told.
36.
Most definitely would.
I think John would be a brilliant captain for a darts team.
100.
Imagine the kind of pre-match motivational speech.
Yes, I can. I really can.
45.
We could maybe ask the likes of Kieran Tian, Conor Heenan, Niall Cullerton, because maybe they've played some national stuff with John.
60.
And he's on 321 after 9 darts here.
100.
We did see Andreas Harrison on 321 after 3 yesterday. Then he went for 3 treble 19s, and he got the first of 3 bullseyes to try and
60.
break the internet with the 9 darter. But we'll have to wait and see if somebody else can do it. And when we posted that on our social channels, by the way, we did get a reply from Connor Scott saying that, don't you worry, I'll get it soon.
I was about to mention that. I think I could actually hear the sigh of relief from Connor that second bullseye didn't go in from Andreas Harrison, because he's got his eye on that.
Require 81.
He was the one who first tried it. Imagine trying that. Oh, it's a good switch. Double 13.
55.
Imagine
John
trying
required
that 3
97.
bullseyes and somebody else gets it before you.
Imagine just thinking that just finishing in 9 darts just isn't good enough anymore, and you have to do it in that kind of style.
Now, John's not going to finish the 97, and I think he did
79. John
think
required
about double-double
26.
there, but decided against it at the last second.
Game shot on the third leg.
But now he's 2-1
John
down.
O'Shea.
He's going to have to find a break if he wants to start Group B with a win.
Fourth leg, it's John Henderson to throw first.
What is it about today as well about people playing with the same first name?
60.
We've had a Richard off, and now we've got a John off.
$95.
Tommy Morris will be back, and he's playing John O'Shea in their second game.
180.
And we have our first maximum of this match, courtesy of the big man from Huntley.
57.
Yeah, the way he's been firing them in this week, kind of disappointing. You have to wait till leg 4, but still finds it and back in again.
140.
Well, here's another twist on the old statistics for the week. John Henderson had 27 maximums in Group A. He finished
100.
second.
John require 121.
Reece Robinson had 28 and he finished 6th. Single 14 will leave tops.
81.
Good job. I say that because a lot of people who have been watching today are from the United States, and they love to say good job.
59. John require 40.
Well, this to level it up at 2-all.
$20.
Yeah, and a rare miss from Henderson. Not major damage done with John back on 109. Or 190, I should
50.
say.
John require 20.
Wants to get it this time to make sure John doesn't have a chance of stealing.
Game shot
Yeah,
on the
that's
fourth
very
leg.
good.
John Henderson.
I think it's easier to say that this game was always going to be tight.
Fifth leg, it's John O'Shea
I
to
think
throw
we all had that
first.
feeling before it started. I think one of the main reasons
40.
that we expected greatness from this group over the next 2 nights is because they know how well John's been playing. They know how well Tommy has played this week. So their mindset coming into
50.
tonight and tomorrow is one of, if I don't play well, I know I'm not coming back.
Yeah, 100%. And they're all champions in their own right. They've
93.
all won titles. They're all playing very, very well at the moment. I think they should all go in with that attitude of everyone's got to beat me, but at the same time, you still have to produce.
59.
And if I may be brutally honest, it's probably only Tommy Morris that doesn't have a big title to his name.
125.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always a caveat to that.
You never know, it might be the series.
123.
How many of these 5 players have won a series? None. Weekly titles.
125.
John Henderson's got one. However, his opponent in this match has been to a Champions Week because he made a final.
85.
Circumstances did
John require 180.
stipulate that he qualified for a Champions Week a couple of series ago.
$58.
That'll do. He'll be back for 60 to keep the pattern moving. And it's the exact opposite pattern of the previous match.
136. Johnny requires 60.
Yeah, it's all going with throw so far. John O'Shea will be hoping that he can find this tops.
Game shot.
That is a lovely third dart.
John O'Shea.
One of the main reasons why you got to pay tribute to that shot is
Stick
because
back, it's
when
John
he
Henderson to
first
throw
missed
first.
tops, his initial thought was, I'll just go from it from the left-hand side of the hockey. But then he realised, with all of his experience,
140.
no, go back to where you were. Start again, reset, and he hit it. So he now has a chance
77.
to win either 4-2 or 4-3 to start really well in a Group B situation again. Predominantly, John has been here before playing Group C.
123.
Playing nighttime darts. Knowing John as we do, Laura, I think this probably does suit him.
You would think so, but if you look back at
85.
Group A, you know, we've said about the stats, and I mean that's an even earlier start. I think it's just about the preparation that you have on the day.
60.
And hopefully Henderson's had a bit of a chance to kind of chill, get over the disappointment of not making it straight through.
Well, most of the players were here by 7:30.
81.
If you take that time frame into consideration, most players in Group A were here at 7:30 in the morning.
60.
O'Shea might trouble Henderson's position here if he gets something sizable. Oh, that was
95.
risky.
Johnny require 118.
Should have gone a little bit further south, John. Well, he did this earlier in the week. He's going for the 2 trebles approach. And if you believe in 18s
78.
first on 118, be my guest. But we cannot criticise him for doing that when his opponent is not on a finish.
Yeah, I agree. And I think board management,
83.
we mentioned it before,
Johnny
it's
require 40.
just that element of the game that's improving so much. It makes so much difference.
Game shot on the 6 flag.
There you are, 3
John
apiece
Henderson.
between the 2 Johns.
7th and final leg, it's John O'Shea to throw first. Game on.
6 legs of sparring, and now we go down to the final round. Who's got the knockout punch?
140.
There's a risk here that Henderson can't catch O'Shea if he keeps doing that. That department's been pretty good. 11 scores of 100 or more is a very fine
55.
effort for 6 and a bit legs.
Yeah, if O'Shea can try and find a way to bookend this match, kicked off with a 13 dart leg. If he can do something
83.
like that, then it's going to be very difficult for Hendo.
You can see Hendo's scoring pack as well. That's very impressive. He needs more though.
140.
Half a dart lead for O'Shea, who we can confidently say now
80.
is flying the flag for Ireland on his own because Cullerton is not going to make it through from Group C after 0 points today, which is disappointing for Niall after a brilliant Wednesday.
119.
No, but after my experience here, I can completely empathise.
Great darts. And when John gets a look at that,
124.
Henderson that is, he knows that he can do everything right from this position, but it is no longer up to him who wins this match.
45. Johnny requires 74.
To finish the job with a 4th consecutive hold.
Game shot.
He doesn't need asking twice.
John O'Shea.
That was an excellent way of showing the world how you win a best-of-7 darts match without breaking throw. Protect, protect, and 2 more times as well. A very steady showing from the Joker. His doubles were exceptional. 4 from 6, as you can see. And you don't need 180s when you're steady and you're brilliant on your doubles. In that match, at least, you do not. But when we come back, we're going to say hello to Monty, because we've got another Scotsman on his way. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. It is Thursday night, and most nights are darts night here in Portsmouth, in a very darts-heavy county, but this is where worlds collide. This is not just about Hampshire. This is about the world of darts. It's Wales against Scotland now, and it's time to welcome back to the Modus Super Series Ross Montgomery, the former Scotland captain, the 2-time Dutch Open champion, nicknamed the Boss. And will he be the boss of this group? Well, he has been the boss of making Saturdays since he made his debut here a few months back. But Alec is looking to respond after a pretty cold start against Tommy Morris. Only averaged just shy of 74 in his first game. Let's see if he can do something more effective against the darts here, because that is the situation he faces. Montgomery 2 times has made a Saturday.
First leg, it's Ross to throw first. Game on.
But at no point has he ever made a Saturday comfortably.
No, it always has been very tight. I think it was just leg difference when he made it last time over Ted Everts.
100.
But I guess the key thing is, and it's what we say, it's just making it through to Saturday. But if you can do it with a little bit of, of a gap between you and the
45.
rest of the field, I'm sure that's a much more comfortable way of doing it.
I think when you come here on a Thursday night, the dream is to win all 4 games, and then you win your 5th
60.
game, which is your first one on Friday night, and then job done. Get to 10 points, you're fine. But predominantly,
100.
when Montgomery comes here, it's around that 6 to 8 point mark, and he's always looking over his shoulder. He must enjoy it because he's coming back.
140.
Must like the scrap. And some dart players do.
Yeah, I think sometimes that can get the best out of players.
56.
You get some players that are naturally front runners and some that you just can never shake off.
If I
41.
may be honest, the one game that I'm looking forward to the most tonight is Henderson versus Montgomery. That's going to be game 5.
100.
2 Scottish veterans going up
Russia
against
require
each other.
160.
It's got a real ring to it. We will get to that in due course. And
100.
steady stuff here from the boss. Alex just not getting that release right so far.
54. Russia requires 60.
No, Alec averaging around the same as what we saw in his opening match.
Game shot on the first.
And he's going to need more than that.
Montgomery.
Because Montgomery, who has been playing a lot of seniors darts recently, is sharp.
Second leg, it's Alec to throw first.
Age is but a number.
Game.
Yeah, indeed, he's doing very well on the seniors tour as Ross Montgomery.
60.
For years, it was levelled at Montgomery that he was a bit of a BDO
60.
beast. Constantly winning titles in that system. I think even he was surprised
60.
to get a tour card a couple of years ago. Had it for 2 years. Good experience. But now he's doing other things. He's here. He's with the seniors. And he's got freedom to go wherever he wants.
100.
Yeah, I think that's what the dart circuit offers, so much more variety and options for players now.
100.
I don't think the PDC system suited Ross. I think he's very happy that he did it and that he's had that 2-year experience of being a card holder.
140.
But I would be surprised if he did it again. I think that was something that he just felt like he
60.
needed to do. Now that it's over, and now he's experiencing this quite a lot, and the senior circuit, I think the amount of darts he plays
140.
will be very manageable for his schedule. He won't be too tired
55.
out, like some other dart
Russia
players are who are
requires
playing on
61.
3 or 4 circuits.
Yeah, well, he's playing very well at the moment. Looking at 36. 99.
43.
But that last visit there from Alex Small leaves him on a 166, so not too much damage done by Ross Montgomery.
And the way things have gone for Alex Small tonight, he's a bit like someone who's walking along the beach in Port Talbot. He's found
60.
one of
Russia
those
require
lamps that's
80.
supposed to have a genie in it, but the genie's got out to lunch on the door.
Game shot
And
on
he
the
is
second
2-0
leg.
down as a result
Ross Montgomery.
of playing the boss when he's feeling very, very good indeed.
Third leg, it's Ross
This
to throw
is good
first.
stuff. Average
Game.
over 91 for the first couple of legs. And he does have unfinished business here, Montgomery, because we've mentioned that he's made
100.
Saturdays before. In fact, his record reads 2-2.
60.
but he's never won a game on a Saturday. And that won't sit well with him. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if he makes Saturday this week, it's not going to get any easier.
No, absolutely not. It's a packed field once again.
100.
It's a bit like doing that travelator on Gladiators. You can't get to the top, and then you go to the bottom and you try again.
97.
It's not as if the slope is going to get flatter. You've got to do the same way. You've got to keep striding up the hill. We have had some great Scottish stories over the years
41.
here in Portsmouth. None better than Jim McEwen winning Series 5.
75.
He's never going to be rushed, is he? As much as Small wants to get on with it, Montgomery's got his process.
40.
He has, but he's by no means a kind of slow player. He's got a I can't say it. He's methodical.
125.
But yeah, has his routine. You see him kind of stands on the oche, puts his foot back behind.
Do you know why some players do that? Because Johnny Clayton does it too.
45.
There are a lot of players who step on top of the oche before they place their foot behind it. And it baffled me for years. But I spoke to some of the players who do it.
56.
And it makes complete sense when you get it from their point of view. Something to talk about at another part of the night. Because the most important thing at the minute is Alex Small trying to break back.
Make it require 88.
7-7.
Game shot.
That'll do very nicely.
Alex Small.
Now we're back on track.
Full player gets Alex to throw first.
And you just wonder, for a player like Alex,
Game on.
does he need just that small catalyst to kind of kick things off? Because, as you say, he just doesn't seem to have found that release, hasn't quite got into his rhythm
60.
as of yet. But once he finds it, he is dangerous.
Very dangerous. You don't get to the final of a week without being a little bit dangerous. I think he has missed a trick with his nickname, though.
100.
Should have called himself The Package. Because good things come in small packages.
45.
Yeah, very good. I'm not quite sure everyone would follow that.
Well, if he's a fan of wrestling, he could have been a bit like Lex Luger. The total package.
83.
Well, sometimes you do have to have the total package to get a win on this stage. I don't think anything's going to come easy to Alec over the next couple of days. This is a horrible group to try and find points.
Yeah, and being in Group B, where you have just got the 4 opponents in an evening, it can quite easily run away from you, lose a few games, and then you start thinking about
60.
Saturday, can you make it? What do you need to do? And it just changes your thought process. At the moment, you're going up there, just want to win.
To put this into some sort of correlation with Group A, to get to the 1 quarter stage of action in the first 3 days, you've got to play 4 matches. In this group, it's half that.
100. Russia requires
It's way more
78.
clinical. 12 will give the boss another break.
Game shot on the full
And a beautiful chance of winning this match,
Montgomery.
possibly by a distance.
Yeah, you mentioned being way more clinical. That's the most certainly was there from Ross Montgomery.
Game on.
Don't forget that you can get yourself involved with the Modus Super Series action tonight via our social channels, Instagram,
41.
TikTok, X and Facebook. And if you
81.
do want to get involved in our live chat, by all means, you can do so. We have Niall Cullerton in the chat right now, relaxing and recharging for tomorrow.
$45.
I'm sure he's tuning in to watch John O'Shea at some point. I think I'd do the same.
56.
But I have noticed that Alex Small is using a piece of equipment that has been used very effective recently by a certain Richie Edhouse. He's having a rather good season.
40.
This is a good visit. Using those very sparkly MVG darts.
Yeah, just took a bit of a deflection on that last one, but yeah, good visit there for Alex Small.
What is it that makes those darts so shiny? Has he put them in a jewellery cleaner?
I don't know.
If you think I'm talking
87.
complete and utter poppycock, some dart players actually do clean their darts in a jewellery cleaner.
139.
See, I'm quite a local lass to Hampshire, and I remember growing up with the likes of Colin Monk, who used to bury his darts in the back garden to make them feel a little bit more worn. So jewellery cleaners are kind of new one.
98.
Well, if that's not sinister, I don't know what is. If you don't perform, you're going to get buried in the back garden.
Well, it's just his darts. When they were new, it would just kind of age them quicker.
Small's going to get out with a win in his first 2 matches tonight.
58.
It's going to have to be
16.
superb from here.
Game shot on the fifth.
That is superb, though.
Small.
Another break of throw.
Sixth leg, it's Alec to throw.
I think
first.
Montgomery was caught in the crosshairs there of what a really good fourth leg. And
60.
next thing you know, the whirlwind that is Alec has found himself back in this match.
He's definitely showing a bit of fight, Alec. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but all the legs he's won, he lost 4-2 in that opener against Tommy Morris. Both those legs were won against the throw. Both the legs in this match have been against the throw. If he can find a way of holding on, and he will need to find a way to hold on if he's got any chance of winning the match.
Well, kindly explain to me, Laura, why he's gone for the treble 20 with that last dart, because it's got absolutely no right to go in. I mean, even Isaac Newton wouldn't find a way to get that dart in, but
100.
apparently Alex Small can, so maybe he's a bit of a genius.
He must have heard you. He switched.
131.
See, he went for the green segment and then the red segment, and they're both apple-coloured. See? Well, this is a good response from Alec.
22.
And you heard exactly what Ross thought of that.
But just look at that release now from Alex Small. Just looking that bit more positive.
We've got 10 games for you tonight, as per usual in our first day of Group B. We will have 10 games tomorrow as well.
59. Alec, you require 150.
But we do have something else coming tonight, which you're going to want to see. Really, Alec? Is this really the time?
56.
I will dispute that one. I don't think it's the right time to do that.
Not when you haven't got any points on the board, and Ross is leaving himself now on a finish.
But is Ross the kind of player you want to do that against?
No, definitely not. I was
Alec,
thinking that
94.
it wouldn't have surprised me if he just bust the 180 or something just out of pure frustration.
And a double attempt as well.
56.
Well, hitting double 19 to leave double 19's new on me.
120.
Is this Maverick week? And Montgomery is showing how you go for 120 usually, but he's not happy with his effort.
66. Alec, you require 38.
Well, Alec, you left it. Double 8 for a tied game at 3-all.
No
Too
score.
many.
Ross, you require 54.
Monty might find his way at the top of the Monroe here. Top of the hill needed. Now he needs to find the corner. And he has found the corner of double 15.
Ross Montgomery.
So Monty's off the mark with 2 points, just like John O'Shea and Tommy Morris. It will be Alex Small and John Henderson at the bottom of the table provisionally after 1 game played by Henderson, but 2 by Small, who did not raise his levels by much at all from round 1 to round 2. In fact, he's only raised it by 0.01. He can't afford to do that when he comes back against John O'Shea in Game 6. But when we come back, it's going to be Tommy Morris up against the Joker. Welcome back. Game number 4 coming your way now. And John O'Shea will look to take on Tommy the Gun. Sounds like a comic book, doesn't it? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? So we are going to see now Tommy using slightly new equipment. We think it's the same type of stuff, but not the white version. Now he's gone for the darker version. Having said that, the white flights and white stems didn't do him any harm in the first game because he won by 4 legs to 2. But he might need to find an extra gear because the best winning average so far tonight has come from the Joker when he took out John O'Shea in a 7 holds match.
First leg, it's Tommy to throw first. Game on.
Tommy has the darts. What has he got to do to fend off the Joker here, Laura?
Very much.
96.
I think more of the same. For me, John O'Shea came out. We wondered how he would react not being here this week, but performed very well with that 4-2 win over Hendo.
44.
I mean, the equipment change you mentioned, it's now, what, the Dark Flight versus the Dark Knight?
47.
Very good. See, that's why you're here. For things like that. I didn't even think of that. Very, very good.
57.
But it leads us to an interesting point, doesn't it? Why would somebody change from white flights to black flights?
40.
It seems like a really strange thing to ask, but it is a very big thing for certain players. For example, John O'Shea uses black stems and black flights.
121.
Why doesn't he use a brighter colour? Like Reese Robinson, who has flights that can be seen from the moon.
60.
Yeah, Tommy just seems to be experimenting with the setup slightly, and he's using it to good effect, but will it be good enough with darts like these from John O'Shea?
Another good start from the man from Cork. If you've never been down there,
93.
what a place.
Gonna require
Everybody's always in a
140.
good mood. Take the ton and
100.
run, especially when your opponent is not on a finish.
97. Johnny require
Yeah, he's on a
40.
finish now, Tommy Morris, but is that going to be enough? O'Shea staring down 40.
Well, this is for his first break of throw of the night.
$30.
Double 10
Tommy
does not come
requires
to his aid on
68.
this occasion. And Morris is in very quickly.
Game show.
And he takes the leg
Tommy
in
Morris.
double quick time. That's 68. Disappeared.
Second leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
About as fast as our referee could see it.
136.
What points total in this group do you think would make somebody feel fairly safe? Do you think 8
100.
points?
Yeah, I think 8. I don't see anyone really running away with it. Obviously, whoever wins this game will go top of the table, but it's early days. There's plenty of darts left to throw.
60.
I like what Tommy said earlier tonight about the dynamic of the practice room earlier in the week
100.
and how everybody was getting along well. There were different characters in that practice room. The likes of Harrison, who is
47.
not the most loquacious of individuals. And then you've got Rhys Robinson, who is an X-factor in any practice room.
100.
But one thing he didn't talk about, which he wouldn't because he's a very humble individual, is the effect that he has on a practice room. Tommy has this ability
74.
to bring the positivity into the room. Now, there are people who... I was given this
60.
phrase last week when I was in Poland. Positivity vampires. Well, that's not Tommy. If anything,
88.
he's the exact
Tommy
opposite.
require 141.
He takes the negativity and then spreads the positivity. And he's looking to make himself smile once again.
89. Johnny require 96.
What does he do? Double-double?
56. Tommy require 52.
He's going to have to dodge more bullets from the gun.
36.
And he has dodged 2 of them.
Johnny require 40.
Yeah, Tommy Morris repaying the favour. John O'Shea missed in that opening leg. Missed this target, but
Game shot
doesn't miss
second.
on this occasion.
John O'Shea.
In the background there, you just saw a little nod of the head
The
from
leg,
Tommy.
it's Tommy to throw first. Game on.
And I'm trying to read him. What I got from him was, that was a chance
58.
that I missed. If you get an opportunity to go 2-0 up on a world master like John, you've got to take it.
140.
He looks in pretty good nick tonight.
Yeah, he does. He's come out strong and he's maintaining the performance levels.
56.
Curiously, that title that John won in 2019 at Purfleet, where he beat Scott Waits in the final, they will run the World Masters this year
58.
in Budapest, where Wesley Plazier will defend.
85.
Quite interesting that it's gone to Hungary.
Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, they're perhaps trying to look at making it slightly more global, and the WGF was in Holland last time. But you mentioned that
133.
that win for John in the 2019s. I have to say the Turner household was very much Team Scott Waits.
98. Johnny require 107.
The win for John meant that he made the World Championships, and it was at the expense of the person that was in position. Just happened to be my husband.
How did Aaron take it, if you don't mind me
100.
asking?
We don't talk about it.
Let's move swiftly on.
100.
Does that mean that
Johnny require
Team Turner
70.
is now Team Morris as well?
No, that's right. It was short-lived. It was one tournament. It's very difficult, isn't it? You know yourself. It's the culmination of the work from a year
38
to get to this kind of one world championship, and it just hurt quite a bit for a while.
And it hurts because it matters. The words of Tommy Morris earlier in the week, it matters.
Game shot on the
And shots like that definitely matter.
Tommy Morris.
A wonderful take from the gun.
Fourth leg, it's John to throw first.
One of the things that I like about this place the most is the ability of the Modus Super
101.
Series to unearth talent. Now, we didn't solely take responsibility for Luke Littler.
59.
We just helped him along his way. Because everywhere he went, he won. And he's won at every level he's ever played. But there are people who come here
140.
and their story starts here. People like Tommy. People like Adam Mould,
100.
who we saw last week.
Yeah, Tom Sykes is the one that always pops into my mind.
Absolutely.
Follow him on, I was going to say Twitter, but formerly known as Twitter, now X, and seems to be taking it to the next level. As John O'Shea takes it to the next level and pins the first 180 of the match.
We're not getting a great deal of maximums tonight. Famously said by me about 2 seconds ago.
John, you require 80.
Yeah, despite the 180, still leaves him on 162, but not much you can do about that.
There is something you can do about this. And it's
Game
that.
shot on the fourth leg. John O'Shea.
This is a good game.
Fifth
Tommy
leg, it's
not quite
Tommy to
finding
throw
the
first.
levels of Group A yet, but still fighting away. He was very honest
81.
when he spoke to us yesterday, saying that his bedtime usually is 10:30. And at the age of 31, he thinks that makes him
60.
somewhat unusual.
My kids are 12 and 14, and I reckon they're still up. Not by choice, it's just, you know, I do think it's slightly unusual. But probably lends itself to a kind of healthy night's sleep and a waking up quite fresh.
57.
And perhaps that's where he gets his positivity from, waking up after a decent night's sleep.
Do you get the feeling that Tommy's a morning person?
I think Tommy's kind of an
99.
all-day person, knowing, you know, what he's like.
$100.
Let's see what it can do from this position with a 1 dart lead.
140.
Very, very good. And doing Dorset proud. I'm sure he's very happy about the fact that the Modus Super Series is in the neighbouring county to his.
100. Tommy require 81.
If he makes Saturday, I get the feeling quite a few people from the Farmy Army might come down. He doesn't have to go bull.
41.
And didn't.
Tommy can get his own band of crowds, the Morris Miners.
Oh, nice.
60. Tommy require 40.
When he does that and he gets the T-shirts made, you can charge him an
Game shot on the
invoice.
fifth leg.
But it is
Tommy
3-2 Morris. Morris Miners. I'm so on board with that. Tommy.
Sixth leg,
Laura's in
it's
your
John
corner.
to throw first. Game on.
It's not Miners he wants,
81.
though. He could be a major champion in the future. You just never know. We don't know what his journey's going to be over the next few
58.
years. And in his own words, he said, I'm still learning. A very mature approach, because there are many a younger dart player than him who think they've already made it.
180.
Well, Tommy hasn't made it to the promised land of 2 points in this
99.
game, because John O'Shea is going to make it very murky for him here in leg number 6.
$140.
Yeah, this is some leg from John O'Shea.
His level
82.
is going up
Run
and
number
up and
100.
up. Stay down that line.
60.
And that line he does stay on to leave tops once again. Tommy's got to be really careful here.
78.
He's been
Johnny
surviving
required
in
40.
this match, constantly taking the lead with the throw, but O'Shea is warming up.
$35.
Did he make the wrong choice there?
Yeah, perhaps. Didn't need to go for the double five, but it shows the level of confidence. I think some players, they just have those patterns set in their head. But only time will tell as
94.
O'Shea
Johnny
looks at
required
5.
Double two. And
Game's
takes
on the
us all the
sixth
way.
leg.
There was
John
no
O'Shea.
trouble at all. Just
7
another
for
way
final
of
against
seeing
Tommy
how
to throw
close
first. Game
this
on.
group could possibly be. It is almost a carbon copy of Game 2.
140.
And a game that O'Shea won when he had the darts. If people are defending their throw really well
57.
here tonight, we could be in for a lot of 7-leg matches.
136.
Yeah, the opening match did go against the darts, but the last two all gone with throat.
Exact averages.
But
not for long.
140.
That does not happen very often at all.
Yeah, especially at 3 legs
85.
apiece.
He might get it after 6 darts each. But after 6 legs? He's got to get a 60 to leave a finish. And he's done it.
134. Tommy record 140.
Whatever you do, Tommy, don't look over your shoulder. Just keep looking forward.
120. Johnny require
He
170.
really did pull that last start.
$60. Tommy require 20.
He must get rid of it now, otherwise O'Shea might nick it away from him. Can he find it with his 4th match dart?
No
The
score.
fact that he can't, he runs the risk
Johnny require 110.
of just having 2 points at the halfway stage of the night. Can O'Shea find what he wants? Which is tops. Oh, he's pinched it.
Shot of the
Oh,
match.
Tommy,
John O'Shea.
you gave him the chance, and the Joker is not kidding around. That was a classy take at the end, and the only break of throw in the match comes at the expense of Tommy Morris, who relinquishes his throw at the very last hurdle. O'Shea with another great display on the 140s and the 180s, and the doubling was just about effective enough. He got just about the amount of shots that he needed to get the win. So he's on 4 points at the top of the table, and now we have a small matter of a Scottish derby in game number 5 coming after this.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
Well, what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Well, Smith, is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot on the
Oh,
mark.
he gets the job
Andreas
done
Harrison.
in the end. He's nodding in total
Game shot on the
agreement
second
because
leg. Game shot on the fourth leg.
Just
Darius
like that.
Labanowski.
only needs the one. There you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him. And is. It was a great guide.
Shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's
Harrison.
a breaker throw for Andreas Harrison.
Shot on the second leg. Dan Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw. Double 16 is fouled.
And he does lead.
The fifth leg. Shot on the
It's not an
sixth
11,
leg.
but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison.
If you like your darts very Scottish, you've come to the right place. Because this has a very good ring to it. Montgomery against Henderson, two of the best dart players that Scotland have produced in the last 20 to 30 years. Such a rich history from north of the border when it comes to darts in lots of different venues. But now we have a first meeting here this week between HENDO and the boss. And they have knocked around each other quite a lot over the last 20 years, haven't they? Maybe just one of them can make it through to Saturday. Maybe both of them will make it. But for now, the boss is looking to get to 4 points with John O'Shea at the halfway point of the night. HENDO just wants points on the board.
First leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
First game of the night that HENDO played, he lost 4-3 to the Joker. Now he's got to make Ross feel the way that he felt in game 2.
100.
Yeah, you mentioned that rich history.
45.
I mean, this is one of those games. It's a bit Back to the Future. Who is going to come out? The Great Scott.
Very good.
81.
Just not attempting the voice.
I'm not going to try either.
You've attempted. I saw.
I was tempted.
140.
If you're going to do a Christopher Lloyd impression, you've almost got to shake your head at the same time. Good grief, Marty. We've got to go back to the future.
180.
First thing I'd pick up would be Biff Tannen's almanac, because I might be able to get the result of this game. However, what you should do, if you are having a flutter, is gamble responsibly. Over 18s only, and begambleaware.org for more information.
140.
That might be one of the best segues I've ever thought of.
100.
Tops left for HENDO, and that's exactly what he's been doing the last 3 days. He's been leaving doubles after 12 an awful lot. And that didn't happen in his first game tonight.
100.
So maybe he was suffering from the dreaded dart lag.
Game shot on the
Not
first
anymore,
leg.
but he
John
has been shaking that right hand a little bit.
Yeah, he keeps doing some kind of almost like a thumb
Second leg,
exercise,
it's
just
Ross to
trying to
throw first.
keep it all
Game
loose. And I think that's one thing that perhaps people aren't quite aware. Playing day after day after day in this kind of environment, there's a lot of matches already been played by the likes of John Henderson. Can take its toll.
100.
What some people might not realise as well is that some dart players have had the most innocuous injuries you could possibly imagine.
100.
Your darts hand, your throwing hand, is so fragile. You've got to protect it. You can't do things that would damage the ability to throw darts the next day.
180.
That's just damaging the scoreboard. But you will find out, if you get a chance to talk to dart players,
100.
that they will not do anything that will jeopardize how they play, because they just don't want to be hurt. For years, I didn't ice skate because I didn't want to fall over.
Yeah, for years
85.
I didn't ice skate because I can't.
Fair enough. But do you remember when Mark Webster broke his leg when he played football? A lot of people said to him that he shouldn't play football because
140. Russian record
of the
136.
possibility of that happening. Well, with injuries to the hand, sometimes it can be as innocuous as sleeping on it strange. Some things can't be avoided.
96. John require 161.
We have not got this finish this week, and we're not going to get it right now.
22. Russia require 40.
This is a great response from Ross Montgomery if he can find the tops target.
Game shot on the second leg. Ross Montgomery.
Very much a case of anything you can do, John Henderson, I can do too. 2 legs of 14 darts.
John to throw first.
Now, speaking to John last night, and we were referencing
140.
something that we talk about at least twice a year. It's a very famous Mike Myers movie called So I Married an Axe Murderer. It's one of those movies where the main actor plays more than one part. And I do believe that Mike Myers plays 2 or 3 parts in that movie. But it's predominantly Scottish.
180.
He's a big fan of it, as he should be.
Yeah, my experience of Mike Myers is Shrek, who is also Scottish, if you want to throw in that reference. But yeah, the beauties of growing up with small children.
81.
We could be here all night long doing Shrek references. Some of them we can say and some of them we can't.
100.
But whoever loses this one might be feeling like a donkey.
And whoever wins will be a stallion, baby.
And it begins.
139.
If you've got any Shrek references that you think are darts related, by all means, get them in the chat. Oh, right there, he was looking for the green, which wouldn't have given him 3 points in snooker terms, but it would have been Shrek green. And he's missed a
55.
single.
Russia require 160.
And left himself on double 13, unlucky for some. He's going to persevere on the 60 here because it is the right player. But bullseye should be the 3rd dart.
51. Johnny required 26.
The only reason he's here is because he missed a single 4. He has hit this exact shot this week.
18.
And it was an important moment.
Russia require 109.
Now that he's missed that one, Montgomery can take the lead with a break of throw.
Yeah, there's a real look of focus there from Ross Montgomery. Needs the treble, finds the treble, so double 16. And this would sting.
93. Johnny require 8.
Needs to stop messing around. I like that step off. He wasn't ready.
Game shot in the 3rd.
And that's experience right there,
Henderson.
because someone of lesser experience would have thrown it anywhere.
4th leg, it's Ross to throw first.
But when you've won a World Cup and a World Seniors Championship, you're no longer a greenhorn.
Yeah, I had that down of one of my moments of the year. That
125.
John Henderson winning that title, just the emotion. He is definitely one of the more popular players on the circuit.
55.
He hasn't won a week here since Series 2, when he made his debut in week 12. It's a high-quality game, as you can see. It's only like 4, and there's already been 3 maximums.
100.
But as the night goes on, the maximum tally is getting better and better per game.
57.
You have to say Montgomery has been really quite solid so far this evening.
125.
Backing it up with a 125 takes him just over a 103 average.
And he has done this before. He's got form for ton plus averages on more than 3 or 4 occasions. So we know that when he comes here on a Saturday a Friday or a Thursday, he can maintain it for a 7-leg match.
Yeah, you talk about form. At 180 there, third of the match
57
for John Henderson.
It's a bit of a poison chalice getting more than 3 180s in a match.
98.
Especially here this week.
Russia
Ask
require
Reece Robinson.
94.
He hit 5 in a game with Andreas Harrison and lost. I think he's still wondering how that happened.
Yeah, I think most players would be scratching their head at that.
Okay, so can the boss get the bull?
Game
That is
shot
so
the
good.
4 flag. Ross
A
Montgomery.
wonderful shot. And there's someone who knows his onions. Because the
The flag is
moment he
Jones
gets
to
that
try
single
first.
19, he didn't hesitate to move left and to move it around the block of dart. A wonderful shot for 2-2.
95.
Now, is that shot easier than it looks? Or is it harder?
No, I think take it from... I'm not one that likes to overly move position once I've found a spot on the oche.
64.
So for me, you know, that's quite difficult because you have it's only a slight adjustment, but your target is ever so slightly different angle, slightly further away. So yeah, and with that
100.
blocker dart, that was a top quality shot.
I do wonder if having those spinner flights does allow him to get the darts past the flights a little bit better because it spins when you hit them.
140.
Yeah, perhaps. Kind of a feature product.
95.
I could never get along with them. They were too distracting in the air.
They're slightly rattly. I have a very similar setup, but they're just a fixed flight, still with some movement though.
100.
He has evolved over the years, however his action has stayed very similar to that of when he first started making lakesides. I do wonder how that sits with Ross at this current time because lakeside was never his best
57.
place. He always wanted to make it, and he sometimes went in at a very high seeding, but he didn't get past the quarterfinals, which for someone of his talent and the CV that he has,
23.
it's almost impossible to
Johnny
believe.
require 154.
Yeah, and I think there are players that just perhaps you might want that title just a little bit too much, or just find a venue that you just doesn't sit quite comfortably with you. But I do agree.
98.
You never know. Maybe the seniors will give him what he's looking for. It gave something to John. And if I may, because this is an all-Scottish battle, Scotland own the World Seniors Championship.
98.
They've won the last
Johnny
3
require
runnings,
56.
the only 3 runnings. It's another missed single for Hendo. But it makes no
Game shot the
difference.
5th leg. John Henderson.
It's almost as if he wanted 2 single 8s.
6th leg is Ross to throw first. Game on.
Is there anything stopping Montgomery to go and win that title next year? I don't think so.
Absolutely not. He's had a good season, solid season so far on the seniors tour. And as you say, he's got that pedigree. And you always think he was going to lift one of those really big titles.
45.
He's already won seniors titles on the floor, and he's played some great darts there. There's no reason why that can't transcribe to the stage.
100.
And they've got players at every level, haven't they? They've got Nathan Gervin on the development tour. They've got
45.
Andy Davidson here. Plethora of players in the WDF ranks. And then they've got a litany of great dart players on the PDC tour.
100.
What chance have they got next week in Frankfurt, I wonder, with Gary Anderson and Peter Wright? They've won it before.
59.
What chance Hendo getting the win here by 4 legs to 2? It looks rosier now. Montgomery is starting to flail.
100.
Yeah, and that could be an important last start there for John Henderson. As you say, Montgomery not yet to find a treble or a big treble in this match so far. in this leg so far.
This is one of those legs, isn't it, though?
60.
Where we are on the Classic 15 data watch, the 5-ton game. There goes that. He doesn't mind, though.
139.
It's the old classic red pen leg. If you don't know what that is, in British Super League forms, if you get a ton plus score, it's a red pen.
40.
If it's under a ton, it's black pen.
Johnny requires 62.
So if you get 4 tons and a 101, it's a red pen leg. But this is a match-winning opportunity for John Henderson on the red.
Game shot and the match.
And a very good job it is from HENDO indeed. He gets himself off the mark. But provisionally, he is outside the qualifying spots for Saturday night. A much improved performance from game number 2, where he lost by 4 legs to 3 to O'Shea. But on this occasion, Montgomery is pegged back. And we do have the halfway point of our Thursday action. When we come back, myself and Laura will chat through what we've just seen.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Modus Super Series. We've been laying the foundations for a Group B campaign over the last hour and a half or so, and we have seen 5 matches so far. But let's have a little look at what we have seen so far. Laura, Tommy Morris getting off the mark against Alex Small. Seems like a bit of time ago already, but what have you made of the action so far tonight?
Yeah, it's as I expected. It's tight. I mean, look at the results: 4-2s and 4-3s the whole way through. So, no major surprises. Obviously, I think I've been impressed most of all with how John O'Shea's come out. Obviously, we weren't sure because he's coming in cold, but to get the 4-3 win over Henderson, then back it up with a 4-3 win over Tommy Morris, who, when we were speaking earlier, were kind of our 2 front runners. So great start for O'Shea.
The only person really not to... Well, I think it's pretty harsh to say that he hasn't impressed, but not really got out of the starting blocks as Alex Small. And I think at this stage, can we say that the other players will look at him and say, he's the person I must get points from?
Yeah, I think so. He just hasn't been able to kind of find that release, find his rhythm. Obviously, he's a very fast player and just hasn't settled in. However, he did start to look slightly sharper towards the tail end of that second match. Okay, result didn't go his way. So, yeah, I think when a couple of your competitors have had those wins, then everyone else is going to be looking to try and beat you as well.
You mentioned John O'Shea has had a really good night tonight. He's at the top of the table right now on 4 points. Just how comfortable do you think he's feeling there right now?
Yeah, I said before, John's just such an exuberant character anyway. So, and he's always got that self-confidence, but he's really backed it up tonight. That 110 finish, Tommy Morris was unlucky not to actually win 4-3 himself, missed match opportunities, but there was just John there to mop it up. And I just think it's just showing how he's feeling about his game. And when he's confident about that, then he's going to be a handful.
How do you think John Henderson's feeling about his night? Because he was on the wrong end of a John O'Shea game in game 2, but his bounce back was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he played much better in that second match and got the result that he needed. But I think because of how well Henderson's played, I think he would have wanted to carry that back in to this match. But as I say, he won the Battle of the Scots on the night tonight over Montgomery, but he's going to want to keep building on that and just keep pressurising John.
Speaking of Montgomery, how do you think he's feeling after his first couple of matches? Because his first performance was pretty good, but he did have a rather remarkable bullseye, didn't he?
Yeah, a great finish on the 94. I really had to kind of move across the oche, as you can see here. Just completely blocked with the 25, but that's the experience that he's got. He knows, just needs to kind of just open up the ball as much as possible and found the target.
We've seen some people this week usurping the oche and going left and right, but the amount of time that he took just to get to that left-hand portion of the oche and find that shot, is it a sign of just how sharp Montgomery is at the minute? Yeah,
I think so. We've mentioned it before. He's performing very well on the seniors. He's playing a lot of darts at a very competitive level. There was no hesitation there. He just moved across and found the target. So I think he'll be quite happy overall with how things have gone, but maybe not with the loss just there against John Henderson.
We'll have a chance to get his own back on him tomorrow, but let's have a look at the table and see how it stands at the minute then. You've got John O'Shea at the top with 2 4-3 wins so far. John O'Shea at the top ahead of the other John, and then you've got Tommy Morris on 2 points alongside Ross Montgomery. So Alex Small not out of it just yet, but he's going to have to get cracking, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be left lingering on the bottom on no points. I mean, it's not impossible, but a lot of things have to go right for you if you're coming into day 2 with no points. And I think for Alec as well, it will just build his confidence because we know what a good player he is. He's made Saturday night before, so he's going to want to do some of the same.
It's time to get excited, Laura. We're talking about next week's players. But if we may just get a little bit more excited, somebody is coming back. Are you excited yet? Because we all are. We're going to have the Prince of Wales back at the Live Lounge. He's never played here before, but we had him at our previous studio in Southampton and he rocked that place. Just how excited are you to see Richie Burnett alongside these people next week?
Yeah, I mean, you're always excited to see Richie in action. But yeah, again, another cracking week. We're only in week 4 and, the players that we've got coming, we've got Daryl Fitton coming in Group B, Reece Colley, and never popular Jimmy Van Schie as well. So that's going to be another tough week for the players.
Yeah, Bhav Patel coming in for another stint here as well. That'll be an interesting one. Daryl Fitton coming back to the Live Lounge for the first time in a while. Mark Dudbridge, who does hold the record for the most 180s by an individual in a match here at the Live Lounge at a few of those as well, with Reece Colley, who has been to a Champions Night before. It's a really interesting dynamic, but Richie Burnett will headline, but let's not forget, Andy Davidson, who did win week 11 of the previous series. He'll be really tough to stop.
Yeah, he made his debut, I think, when he won last time. I was here and I was commentating on him and just thought, he approached it. He seemed like he'd been doing this for years. So, yeah, like you say, that's not going to be easy for anyone to get through. And I'm quite excited. I'm very excited, to be fair, to see Richie coming back. I just want to pre-warn everyone, do not stand too close to that back leg on that stage because you might go flying.
Yes, they might. And that includes everybody in Group A. But when Jimmy Van Schie was here the last time, tickets were at a premium. He was Mr. Popular. And if you want to be here to see him again, potentially on a Saturday night, this is how you get your tickets.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly.
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
Every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the Modus Super Series very soon.
Thanks for staying with us. And I'm still shaking in the hands department because Richie Burnett's coming back. Oh, it's going to be great. Whenever he's around, everybody wants to watch. And if he makes it to Saturday night next week, my word, this place is going to be rocking. So, another Welshman, Alex Small, needs to get off the mark here, doesn't he, Laura?
Yeah, 100%. You do not want to find yourself 3 matches in Group B without a win under your belt. But as we were saying, yeah, I felt like he kind of warmed into the match. Okay, he did lose 4-2 against Montgomery his last time out on the stage, but
game on.
Started to find a bit more of that accuracy that we're used to seeing from him. But as a player, sometimes you just have days where things just don't go your way.
It does strike me as an action that when he gets the release right, he's someone who could 48. Have almost as many 180s as he wants. But when that dart is hitting the board,
133.
If it hits the corner, it tends to flatten out, which means he does need to switch. The same happens with O'Shea, but it's not as much. In fact, it did it more there, so thanks for that, John.
139.
It's nice when players actually do something that backs up the point you're trying to make, because normally they do the complete opposite.
Oh, yes, they're very inconsiderate. But I think as a dart player, you've got to be selfish. It's not necessarily a nice trait to have in ordinary life. It's nice to be selfless, do other things for other people. But in an individual sport like this,
60.
You've got to be so selfish. And in the case of this format, it's 4 times a night, 20 minutes at a time.
139.
Now I'm starting to get it right.
Johnny require 90.
All of a sudden, O'Shea's under pressure to take this 90.
Yeah, that's a loose one. Can't find the target, so
30.
Yeah, that last visit from 50. Alex Small. Can he make the most of it? Finds the 18 for 32.
Game shot on the first leg.
And that's a good end to that opening leg for Alex Small.
That was a good ending and a very good result in that first leg. 17 darts is a really fine hold for Alec, and maybe the best that he's shown tonight already, but he already knows at the start of leg 2 that things are not going to be simple when the other guy is doing things like that.
26.
Now, I do sometimes wonder when I watch the speedsters, like the really fast players, when you do go off target, how hard it is to actually make that adjustment
44.
Whilst trying to keep the same pace, the same rhythm.
You're asking the wrong person. I'm a bit like you. I like to take my time. But it does seem
As if the fashionable way of playing the game is just a bit quicker these days. Especially with some of the players that we've got coming next week. One person that we didn't even mention was a former participant in a Champions Week, which was Jeroen Mierk. A very fine player. Good to have him back. The man who throws points about as long as Pinocchio's nose. I hope they haven't grown.
48.
And it's going to be easy, isn't it, for Burnett to take all the headlines coming into next week. But we can't ignore the fact that there are other people there who can easily win next week.
Yeah, 100%.
57.
But Richie Burnett, one of those really lively, exuberant characters.
Niall Cullerton said in the chat that McGurk is winning next week. It's not a bad shout, actually. That's not bad either.
77.
Wonderfully done. And leaves himself on a maximum checkout from a maximum style approach.
$92. Alec, you require
These are the best times to get these checkouts when your opponent's on a double. It's not going to happen on this occasion, though.
78. Johnny require 32.
Well, they still level the match.
Game shot.
Yeah, no problem there for John O'Shea. This is quite an interesting one for me in terms of the table. I know it's really early to be speaking about the table, just 5 games in, but top of the table, won both his games against Alec, who hasn't won a single game. If Alec can find a way of winning here, it really would open everything right back up again for everyone.
Absolutely right. We've got a little bit of that happening in Group C. I think there's only one person here this week who can relax. That's Harrison. He's watching everybody else stew.
55.
Say, I'm feeling pretty chilled here. Enjoying it. Sitting back. I'm more chilled up here in the commentary box than I was down there playing it, I'll be honest.
Yeah, we've both experienced it on that stage.
120. $77.
We are going to crown 2 more series champions by the end of the season, going into the World Championship at Christmas time.
60.
And opportunities are few and far between. If you want to grab your fingerprints
36.
And put them on that series trophy, alongside the likes of Littler and Conan Whitehead and Jim McEwen from Scotland, of course,
37.
and Scott Taylor and Harrison, who desperately wants to do it again. You're only going to have 2 opportunities this year. Double 16. And the moment Alex Small has a bad leg, O'Shea is in.
Yeah, we said earlier, it's about being selfish. It's about being ruthless. A race to 4 is very short, especially compared to what a lot of these players play away from the Modus Super Series. There's only 1 or 2 little mistakes and it can really change the context of the match.
46.
Someone's just made a really good point in our chat. Many thanks to Ego Chip, who is one of our regular viewers.
100.
This is the Joker against the wild card.
$100.
See, I'm thinking more superheroes. I think my mind is in the wrong thing, but I mean, they're essentially the same thing, aren't they? Depending on how you use the Joker in a pack of cards.
Absolutely right. There are certain games that you can use the Joker to get yourself 5 of a kind, for instance.
60.
Did that once. That was profitable. It wasn't for money, it was for matchsticks.
85.
I've been really impressed with John tonight.
145.
I think he's looked very assured.
100.
You know, could go back to what you were saying earlier, just about the fact that he's kind of come out, he's second favourite, he's seen that, and it's just giving you that bolster of confidence that you need before you go on the stage.
Double 18.
Game
John O'Shea is here to play.
John O'Shea.
Watch along, as if you may.
It's Alec to throw first. Game on.
Wow. 150 out from the Joker. He is cooking with gas.
97.
See, that's the way perhaps that Andreas Harrison could have gone for it for his 9 the other day.
He could have. He just wanted to do it a bit sexier.
125.
Now we can classify
98.
Alex Small as someone who's got a problem in this table. Because at 3-1 down against someone who's doing this, and this is very consistent from O'Shea as well.
140.
Averages of 86, 90, and this is nearly 95.
59.
It's consistently good, but it's getting better as each game is played. And he's not slowing down. O'Shea is playing like a player who refuses to go home on Saturday. He's playing like a player who is staying. So in card tricks or card games, stick or twist. Stick.
Game shot and the match.
Really,
John
really good
O'Shea.
from O'Shea. He wins the match with a 12 darter, and that's his best result of the night. It's the first time he's won where it has not been 7 legs. 96.51 is the second best performance we've seen all day long. The only other one that was better than that was the first game in Group C today from Richard Eric Rowlands. But that's the best we've seen here in Group B. And Alex Small has got a stack of problems. He's only got 5 games left, and he might not get enough to get through at this early stage. As for Tommy Morris and John Henderson, they're going to do battle for the 4th time this week, right after this.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Number 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is. Charlie Murphy.
A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
No Bosch.
Pie Face is through.
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game for that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back once again. And if you want another instalment of John Henderson, you've come to the right place, because he's up against Tommy Morris. They both have 2 points in the table to this point, and they have 2 games left for the night. Henderson has Morris and Small. Morris will finish up against Montgomery, so he's got a Scottish double coming in the next hour and a bit. But it's John O'Shea they're trying to catch. What a night he's having. And what's in store for him as he takes on Montgomery after this? Good friends, those two off the hockey.
First leg,
but that will be put
Tommy
aside in Game 8 at the conclusion of this 4th meeting of the week between Tommy and John. And there's something that Tommy hasn't got in his collection this week, and that's a win against HENDO.
Yeah, it was quite a definitive win for Henderson in the
41.
On the first day, 4-1 victory, but all the rest have been very tight, 4-3. But as you say, all gone the way of the Scottishman.
97.
It's been quite a while since we've had 100 average. It was yesterday.
140.
We were spoiled the first 3 days. I'm not going to lie about that. But I did sneakily suspect, because there was so much quality in Group A, that they would follow each other and feed each other the kind of games that would spur them on into these massive averages.
72.
Not surprised that things have come down a peg here today. And as the pressure goes up throughout the course of Friday and early Saturday morning, because we will play until around 1:15 on Saturday morning,
required 12.
I expect to see some edgy misses.
Game shot on the first leg.
There's no miss there as Tommy takes the lead. 13 dart at the start.
Second leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
And I guess if there's, I say criticism is the wrong word, but any element of Tommy Morris's game tonight at least, that finishing just hasn't been quite as sharp as what I think he's going to need. And by that, okay, he went out on the third dart, he missed 2, went out first, but he's needing the extra throw, which means you need to make sure you're getting that extra throw. So it puts a lot of pressure on the scoring side of things.
100.
One thing that I find that is very fair when you play Group B is that you're going to have the darts twice, and you're not going to have the darts twice. The 2 days that you play are symmetrical. Whereas if you play Group C, one day you'll have the darts 3 times, the next day you'll have it twice. It is fair overall.
98.
But imagine if you don't have the darts 3 times on a Friday and you need that result. He's gone for treble 7 for tops.
Game
of course he has. He's just hit it again.
John Henderson.
It's like it's a rewind of yesterday. And another 12 darter for John Henderson. And maybe the standard is about to go up.
98.
Well, you did mention we haven't seen a 10 plus average yet tonight. These guys both threatening it at the moment, but there's a bit of a way to go.
97.
We've been coming here since September the 3rd, 2022. That famous night where Kieran Tian was the first winner. We've seen records tumble.
100.
We've seen record averages, great performances and fantastic matches. But there are still a few things that we have not seen. And we do wonder if we will ever see them. In particular, a 9-dart leg on a Saturday night. I'd like that to happen when this place is chock-a-block.
95.
It would be absolutely electric. It's always quite buzzing. The atmosphere is great here on a Saturday with the audience in, but could you imagine the crowd reaction?
Especially if it's a crowd favourite. My word, can you imagine if you're a big Jimmy Van Schie fan?
97.
Which there are plenty
Tommy
of in
Require,
Portsmouth, by the way.
123.
If he hit a 9-darter next Saturday night, well, Hendo's going to get a chance to break the throw of Morris, courtesy of that missed dart at the single 16 or the treble.
Johnny requires 72.
Double top for Hendo again.
52. Tommy required 40.
Yeah, it's almost in the 8. And now it's afforded Tommy Morris what might feel like a break if this goes, but it's just a holder throw.
Game shot.
There you go. It is a holder throw.
Tommy Morris.
It could have been a little bit better than this.
Full flag, it's John to throw.
Had he found double 10 in a previous match. And that's what that was all about, offering his hands to the board, because double 10 did cost him against John O'Shea. It cost him 2 valuable points. But if he gets the win against this Scotsman
59.
and another Scotsman by the end of the night, he will probably forget about that quite quickly.
You don't get much time to kind of dwell on past losses in this kind of format. You need to move forward quite quickly. And I will say that's probably easier for some players than others.
Well, we've had a really interesting question in our chat from Neil Cruikshank. He asks, why can't they bull up backstage? Doesn't it make it fairer? Well, we only have one bull up all week, and that's for match 104.
99.
That's the final. The rest of the week, we apportion the darts fairly and evenly throughout the schedule. So everybody gets the darts the same amount of times.
177.
They get the darts 4 times. They do not another 4 times in Group B.
60.
It's just a bit easier to do it that way in a round-robin format. If we did bull-ups all the time, it would just take too long. And this way, it's still very fair.
And it's something, as dart players, that's what we're used to. We play local league. It's normally done in that kind of format. Same with county. You know, depending on where you are in the draw, whether you're going to have the darts or not.
60.
If it was a knockout tournament, I promise you it would be bulling up every time. But it's not a knockout tournament until Saturday night.
Game shot on the 4 flag. John Henderson.
But it is going to be best of 3 from here. Hendo with a 16 darter there to draw level.
5th flag, it's Tommy to throw first.
And what has he got to do to break
47.
him? 12 darter like 2 would probably do it.
Yeah, you feel he's going to have to find something.
60.
Tommy, obviously, again, another player that throws with that kind of pace. He clattered into the last one. Just where they're landing sometimes, it's a bit awkward.
100.
Alan Green, one of our regular viewers in the chat, has asked the question, Daryl Pilgrim's record average will never be beaten here. What do you think?
85.
I'm very much of the belief of never say never. The things that we've seen so far, you know, in a short format, I think anyone could turn around something in a race to 4.
58.
I think it can be beaten. And I think we've got somebody here who can beat that, and that's Andreas Harrison. He's had 113 and 112 average this week, and he wasn't 4 out of 4 on doubles. He can find another level. All of these players have got ridiculous levels in them, especially in short format darts. If it was best of 19, I'd say it would never be beaten.
180.
But at best of 7, I'm not saying that. I'm saying a break of throw is possible here.
40. Johnny requires 63.
Said he might need a 12 for it. He's got a chance at a 15 for that break.
Game shot on the 5th flag.
Tommy
John
Morris,
Henderson.
straight to the water. And if he had a sick bucket, he probably would have gone straight to that.
John to throw first.
He just can't seem to get the impetus against Hendo this week.
Yeah, once again, things not quite going to plan for Tommy Morris.
101.
I do feel the 4, if you take Alex out of the equation at the moment, just because he hasn't got any points on the board. I think between the other 4, it's going to be a real tight battle for those top 3 spots.
It's not as if the leg difference is that wide as well. As it stands, there's only 5 legs between the top 4. That's nothing. That's less than a game.
96.
Hendo is one of the nicest people on this planet. But if he's beaten you 4 days in a row, is it starting to get a bit old?
Yeah, but I think for some players you can start trying just that little bit too hard.
99.
I think coming into the second group, perhaps players have to look at it slightly differently. But these 2 guys are the only 2 that have come over from Group A. I don't care what you say; it's gonna be in your head. Hendo's gonna be like, "I've got this." Tommy Morris is like, "I want this."
That's wonderful.
74.
He's just hit what Hendo needs, but he can't hit it to win the leg.
$134. Tommy requires.
Don't miss this, because if you do, you're running the risk that you might lose the match. He knows that he needs to hit this.
Game
fabulous.
6 flag. Tommy Morris.
And the game that we have just witnessed over the last 6 legs,
7th and final leg is Tommy.
game of the night so far,
Game on.
is about to have its conclusion. But who's going to win it?
Yeah, that was a massive dart there from Tommy Morris. 15 dart breaker throw to level things up. But I defy anyone to say that they really like double 9.
60.
Double 18 is quite a common leave in terms of double, but you break it down. So easy to go inside, so easy to mess that shot up.
59.
We're not supposed to say that, you know, that we don't like double 9. But we all hate it. If double 9 was a kid in the playground,
60.
It'd be, you know, that kid that everybody's a bit suspect of. They're just a bit emo-like. You're not really sure what
99.
they're like, and you're a bit scared of them. But really, they're not that scary. How did I go down that route?
I do sometimes question how your mind pulls these things together.
I've been watching too much Pokemon.
But we've done Shrek.
58.
I don't even mind going into the realms of The Simpsons, but we're not talking about Pokemon. I draw the line.
Can Hendo get in touch? He can. He can get to the finish first. That's really well done by Tommy Morris. But is this game going to finish with a flourish? Or will it be ended by the person who threw first?
Tommy require 89.
42 a bull. He's got the bull. Has he got 32 more?
57.
Well, we're about to find out
Only require 44.
if John Henderson once again loves Motown. He maybe loves it more than ever because for the 3rd time this week,
Henderson.
Tommy Morris has been defeated by John Henderson by 4 legs to 3. He missed a match start in the final leg. He did brilliantly to take it all the way, but a very competitive game sees the Scot go to 4 points and to 2nd in the table provisionally. When we come back, Ross Montgomery, the other Scot, is about to take on John O'Shea, who plays his final game of the night. Last chance saloon here for John O'Shea, but not in a bad way, because he's been perfect tonight. 3 wins from 3. And if he signs off with another one again against Ross Montgomery, he's going to be Mr. Perfect tonight. And he will have 1 foot in Saturday already. He has been getting better game on game. And if that continues here, Laura, what can Ross Montgomery do about it?
I mean, Ross has shown wonderful signs of what he can do up on that Oki, and we know how well he's been playing away from the Modus Super Series. So it just needs that level of consistency. Just keeping in touch with John O'Shea throughout.
First leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
2 experienced campaigners here who have been making Portsmouth one of their adopted homes this year, after both losing their tour cards at the end of last season. But not moping about it, just pressing on with some new challenges.
58.
I guess that's what you've got to do these days.
I think we talked about it or touched upon it earlier. When you go onto the Pro Tour, it's so intense. But you also run the risk, because if you do have those early exits time after time, you don't actually get as much match play as perhaps you may need, especially when you first get your tour card. So what we're seeing now is what these guys can do when they're playing more regularly and more competitively.
It's a very popular subject at the minute.
44.
Of course, everybody wants to get on the Pro Tour and make good money and fight for titles, but there are a select few that make an awful lot of money.
43.
And there are a lot of players who don't, because it's very hard. We're talking about the best players on the planet. And if you can't stand up to their level of play, it could be a very long 2 years. And you're right, they might not get a lot of game time at all, especially if you don't qualify for European Tour events. Which leads me to the fact that now we are into Friday morning. Good luck to all of the players playing in Leverkusen this weekend at the final European Tour event ahead of the World Match Play. And the race for the match play will heat up ahead of 2 final Players' Championships at the beginning of July.
134.
I think there's going to be quite a few debutants at Blackpool this year, including Mr. Littler, the Premier League champion. That doesn't sound right, does it?
It doesn't.
The Premier League champion's making his match play
44.
debut.
Yeah, that's some impact he's had on the sport, not just in terms of what he's achieved, but away from the Oki.
20. Russia require 106.
He's basically an influencer now, isn't he? Ross can influence his chances if he can find 106. He's not going to find it.
58.
So John can come back and find what he couldn't find in the previous leg.
21.
First time he's really slipped all night.
Russia require 48.
Yeah, but this is a huge chance here for Ross Montgomery. Opts for 8 for tops.
Yeah, very well found by Ross.
Ross Montgomery.
I mentioned that's the first time that John has slipped, because before that first leg he was 50% on doubles for the night. He was 12 out of 24. So to see John miss 5 darts at a double, he's hoping that's just a blip.
140.
Yeah, because we now see Ross Montgomery, he's got the bit between his teeth. He's got the breaker throw that he needs. Kind of goes back to that holding game. You can't be defensive, and I know that sounds really odd, doesn't it, when we say it out loud in a dart match, but you still have to go for it.
I think that's why people like the sport.
60.
There is no defense. There's only attack. There's no going backwards.
59.
It's not as if you can have a visit and go on to 561.
Have you seen me chalk? That is a distinct possibility with me up on the chalkboard.
I have seen some people hit a golf ball and it goes backwards. But in this sport, that doesn't happen.
100.
We've had somebody in our YouTube live chat ask, is Leverkusen a host city for the Euros football as well? It is not, believe it or not. Bayer Leverkusen won the Bundesliga and they have a fabulous
54
sports complex just across the road from, I think it's the Ostermann Arena in Leverkusen where they play the European Tour event at the European Darts Open.
41.
And that venue was not chosen to host the Euros, which I think is lunacy. But it must be something to do with infrastructure. Well, there's plenty of infrastructure around here. 99. If you want to come and join us on Saturday night, still tickets available for this third week of play to see who will join Jim Long and Tom Sykes in Champions Week at the end of August. If you want to make it down, get yourself down here. We'll come down and say hello, Laura and I.
And unless that puts you off, then we'll stay upstairs in the commentary box.
74. Johnny Require.
Well, that one didn't put John O'Shea off. He's got a freebie chance at 141. And that shot is already off.
47. Russia required 14.
There's a distinct possibility here that Ross Montgomery could bunch this table up on his own over the next 45 minutes. If he finds double seven,
no score.
He will not believe that something didn't help 94. Him on dart 3 there. He missed all of the stuff that could bounce it in. Double 16 for O'Shea.
62.
He's lost his compass
40.
on the doubles.
Yeah, another chance here then for a 2-0 lead. And this time he does find the target. 2-0 Ross Montgomery. It's John O'Shea with a bit of work to do.
We've obviously got some people in our chat from Germany because somebody said that the Bayer Leverkusen stadium is small. No, it's not.
180.
Have you never been to Kenilworth Road in Luton? That's small for a top flight stadium. And things in Portsmouth 56. Over the next few months are going to be boisterous now that they're back in the Championship. Well, has John O'Shea woken
101.
up after a bit of snoozing in the first couple of legs?
Yeah, definitely a better start in this leg for John O'Shea.
100.
There's the QR code. If you want to join us on Saturday night, use your smart device, scan that. It'll take you straight to the booking page. £2 is enough to reserve your seat. Bring some people
60.
with you if you like.
John require 80.
Libations available and world-class darts for you on a Saturday night. What more could you possibly want? Well, John wants tops, but he's not going to get that via a QR code.
40.
I mean, I would definitely sign up if that was if that was available to me.
You'd have to beat me to it.
But in the context of this match, although John's got a bit of time on his hands, he's knocked from 7 on the outer ring.
Game shot on the third leg.
Now
John
1
O'Shea.
from 8. But how costly will those early misses be? Because we're back with Ross Montgomery on throw. And as I say, he can just hold throw Montgomery, which sounds easy when we're sat up here saying it. But if he can do that, he's going to upset the Joker's night.
Something that Batman tried to do many, many times.
140.
Imagine if Batman was Scottish.
Thinking more like a Commissioner Gordon.
41.
No, Commissioner Gordon was played by Gary Oldman, one of the best actors from the United Kingdom over the last generation. How would Batman be different
100.
if he was Scottish?
definitely be a different outfit.
60.
Yeah, it wouldn't be black. It'd either be Rangers blue, Aberdeen red, or Celtic green and white.
Yeah, the blue and reds, you just described Superman, but I'm thinking more of like a kilt type version of Batman.
Batman in a kilt.
It's wee Spollen.
There's something I never thought of here.
140.
I am Batman. Get me an iron brew. We're just thinking of ways you can be John O'Shea because he is the Joker.
76.
He might just be about to get to 3-1.
85.
Oh, John.
90.
He understood as soon as he threw that, the mistake he'd made. But look on the bright side, John, it might make no difference.
54.
But now it does.
100%. Montgomery knows again, got time on his side. And that's not something we've said that often when John O'Shea's been up on the oche.
131. Russia required 36.
It's a brilliant visit.
Game shot on the fourth.
But it does make no
Ross
difference.
Montgomery.
And now O'Shea needs to do something that he's not done a great deal of tonight.
It's John to throw first.
Legs in succession. A lot of his success tonight has been win the leg, lose the next. Win the leg, lose the next. It's been very tight stuff. He's in the worst position he's been in all night long against maybe the most experienced player on the hockey.
41.
Yeah, and this is where, as a dart player, sometimes thoughts can come into your head. Obviously, all John's got to do is fight, fight, fight. Keep himself in the match. Ross is probably feeling slightly more comfortable. He's got a two-leg buffer. That soon disappears in a race to 4, and then the panic sets in.
140.
You know, John once threatened that he was going to play a European tour event in Munich in full Joker attire. He was going to go full-on Dark Knight Joker with the purple and the green and the face paint and everything. I'm not sure what happened to that idea.
140.
I've got an idea. I'm not quite sure if that's would have gone down particularly well.
I would have loved to have seen that.
180.
Give the players artistic license. Let them do what they want.
$60. John required 40.
This is what John wants. Tops.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
Here comes the fight back.
Yeah, so John O'Shea in full Dark Knight regalia. He'd have to play another superhero type. Maybe Martin Lukeman just as the Hulk. He's Smash, isn't he?
I just call him Luke Man.
100.
Yeah, we do have superheroes in darts. We've got a Man of Steel in Rob Collins.
97.
We've got Superman in Matt Clark. We've got a Spider-Man in Mark Webster.
We've got a Riddler.
We do have a Riddler.
Brian Roman.
Brian Roman.
180.
Ross Montgomery's got a maximum. And that's 3 in this
42.
match now, collectively. And it might just be the most important one. Because it might stretch his lead to the point where John O'Shea can't catch him anymore.
131.
Yeah, and that 180 very well backed up there with the 131. Down to 90 and just 9. Ross Montgomery wants his game over here and now.
90.
Double 18. It's not the worst miss.
Game shot.
And that's not the worst hit either, because that means that Ross Montgomery is the first person to beat John O'Shea in this group And it makes things really interesting because he still has a chance of being top of the table by the end of the night. So, O'Shea is beaten for the first time. Montgomery goes to 4 points in the table. And now we will bid adieu to Alex Small and John Henderson as they do battle in the penultimate game of the night. Thank you for staying with us at this very late hour in the United Kingdom. But if you are watching from around the world, we want to know where you're watching from. So get involved in our live chat on YouTube and let us know where you're chilling from, whether it's early, late, or whether you're even just around the corner from the live lounge. We want to know where you're watching from. But this is the final match of the night for John Henderson, and it hasn't been a bad night at all. He's got a chance of beating John O'Shea's total, which is now the clubhouse total of 6 points and +3 leg difference. But this one for Alex Small is last chance saloon in a very different way to John O'Shea from the last match. If he does not
First
win,
leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
he's not going to walk away with anything from tonight, and that puts him almost in the Group B bin, Laura.
Yeah, 100%. Just hasn't quite clicked yet tonight for Alex Small. But if he can finish the night on a high and bring that in tomorrow,
140.
then once again, it really makes the group very, very interesting indeed.
$41.
Don't underestimate just how important that win for Montgomery was for Alec.
42.
Making sure that the top spot can be a maximum of 6 points means that if he beats Hendo, the difference between him and top spot will only be 4 points going into tomorrow. That's very doable. If he has a much improved Friday night and early Saturday morning, this is a situation that can be fixed. But It's getting pretty drastic if he loses to John.
Yeah, agreed. And I just find the adjustment, he's just not
78.
finding that adjustment right. When he's finding the target, he's generally backing it up.
60.
He can't finish 159, as many of you out there will know. But he won't be too perturbed by it, because Alec is a good
102.
treble and a bit outside of a finish.
$83. Johnny required 57.
This is a good chance to take the lead. He will be a heavy favourite in this game because of his form and the fact that he's got the darts.
Game shot on the
and
first
now a
day.
1-0 lead.
John Henderson.
We've got plenty of people watching along from around the world. Denmark, Scotland,
Second leg, it's
Aberdeen
Alex
to be
first.
exact. Hamilton in Scotland as well. Cologne in Germany.
57.
Fife in Scotland, the Netherlands. A very good evening to all of you. Somebody tuning in from Galashiels, just on the Scottish borders. Beautiful part of the world.
45.
And New Brunswick, Canada. That's Jeff Smith's backyard.
134.
Yeah, it's always good to see such an international audience taking an interest in the darts.
135. $45.
I think that's the best thing about technology. It's brought us closer together. The world is a smaller place. I remember when Hendo went to his first World Cup and he played in North America, in North Carolina. I think it was Charlotte.
57.
He told me all about it. And it sounded like such a great adventure. But speaking to people from other continents and playing on other continents just feels
140.
less of an adventure now, but more of... It feels more achievable.
58.
Yeah, I think
John never
technology
requires 60.
embraced in the right way is absolutely fantastic.
He's looking at tops in the top left corner.
Game shot on the
Oh,
second.
Henrik Larsson would be proud of that one, John.
Henderson.
And when we were watching Scotland last night, there was
The leg, it's
a
John
very,
to
very
throw
nice
first.
dog at the establishment that we were watching the football at. And I said to John, if that was your dog, John, what would you call it? And he said,
99.
Henrik. After Henrik Larsson.
Did you expect anything else?
Nope, not at all.
100.
I actually have something in my house named after John. I have a bull dressed in
58.
tartan that is a doorstop. And it's called HENDO.
And he knows about this.
95.
Now he does. Yeah, nothing gets past HENDO. Not even the door.
100.
Hendor stop.
There you go. There's some merch. There are plenty of
99.
people out there who want a HENDO stop.
You can tell it's just getting into the early hours here.
Nothing wrong with a bit of late night chatter about the darts
134.
and doorstops. But John is cruising in this game. After what was a particularly tough start to the
95.
night,
Johnny Maguire, 110.
he has figured it out.
Yeah, tops to 3-0.
90.
Yeah, and a rare miss
Alec
at
Maguire,
that tops target. And it
112.
does open a small opportunity here for Alex Small. Needs to find that treble and can't. So Hendo back for a 3-0 lead, needs double 10.
40. Johnny required 20.
Ooh, 7-7. That really took him by surprise. And maybe everybody else as well.
6.
So much so that he can't find it. Have a double 6 instead. This could get him started.
Game shot.
Wonderfully done.
Alex Small.
But that's pretty much all he's been getting. A few scraps tonight. He hasn't dominated any opponent. Hasn't felt like he's led anybody to the degree that it feels like he could beat them. 4-2 against Morris. 4-2 against Montgomery. 4-1 against O'Shea. He's not been in a winning position all night long.
No, average-wise, it's all been around that mid-70s mark. Actually doing the same here, but maybe a slightly better position if he can hold on to the throw here. That's a good last start.
We've got somebody in our chat from New Zealand.
83.
A place called Rotorua. I've heard of it.
100.
I've never been there, but I bet it's wonderful. One of the best countries on earth. And I am sure that New Zealand next week in Frankfurt at the PDC World Cup are going to cause some problems.
It's one of my favourite tournaments. It's just a bit like the World Championships. It introduces you to players that you perhaps don't get to see on that big stage very often. And when a few of them step up and take the opportunity, we saw it with France last time. We obviously all knew about Thibaut Tricot. But just seeing him up there and actually, you know, making a bit of progress, I think it's fantastic.
140.
Let's see if HENDO can take out this 93 for a 3-1 lead. Double 18.
70.
There was some urgency on his face there because he did not want to give Alex this shot. Small doesn't take advantage of it.
18.
And for me, there was a key difference in the approach that Alex took to that shot. When he finished earlier, he had that step back on the double 6. He recognised the importance, took his time as HENDO nails double 4 for a 3-1 lead. That time he relied once again on the rhythm, and I think it's the rhythm that's just not quite working out for him tonight.
Game on.
Rhythm is most certainly not a dancer tonight.
Well, maybe Gloria Estefan wasn't right, and the rhythm isn't going to get you. If I may reference the PDC World Cup just once.
41.
For next week. As if Belgium didn't have enough problems with their squad, they've been given Singapore and the Philippines in their group. I couldn't even say that without laughing.
95.
Harith and Paul Lim and the Philippines have got the best player in Asia at the minute in Alexis Toilo.
81.
Holy smokes. I'd watch the World Cup just for that group.
Well, you know, from playing in it, having that camaraderie between the teams and the pairs, it's really important.
Just ask John. He's won the thing.
You were close.
100.
Yeah, I'll take it. I've got a choice, have I?
85.
Now, John's got a choice. Is he getting 6 darts from 190 to put Alec away?
100.
That is the case, and I think the writing is very vivid for the man in the wildcard shirt.
60.
Although, is there a side door to success here? If I may paraphrase the
126.
ever brilliant and ever missed Sid Waddell, Alex Small tonight has had darts going in at so many angles, a hypotenuse would dream of it. His deflections tonight.
54. I think it required 53.
It's like the Higgs boson. Double 10.
Game shot.
He's still alive.
Alex Small.
And he's still going round and round and round. Like that big thing they've got in Switzerland.
Siegberg, it's Alec to throw first. Game on.
You know the thing I mean.
The Hadron Collider.
That's the one.
God, it's making me think at this time in the morning.
57.
He's starting to sound like your daughter when she goes to school.
She's already texted. I'm hoping she's not hearing this right now because she will be in trouble if she's still awake.
I can imagine saying that to the teacher at school. Don't make me think in the morning. I need my morning coffee first.
140.
I remember when we first started playing at this hour, when we were in our previous studio.
43.
And it was difficult for the players to do so, because they're not used to playing after midnight.
100.
But these regular players, and every single player here in this group has played in a Group B situation before.
81.
This is just normal now. And you might ask, why do we play this so late? Because it's the slot we were given.
136.
It's not just because we want to play at this time. It's because a lot of different people got their heads together and said that this was the best time to play.
57.
And the players,
I think it requires 68.
they're just told when to play and they are perfectly okay with it.
Go full Billy Idol now. In the midnight hour, we cry
Game
more,
shot the
more, more.
sixth.
And that's what we like. More
Alex
darts.
Small. 7 from final leg. It's John.
That was a great 68 checkout.
Game on.
From Alex Small. Taking us all the way and just keeping things even tighter than they could be.
60.
I just wonder if he does get himself involved in this group,
140.
whether the fact that he's lost quite heavily in his first 3 matches, whether that will come back to bite him a bit.
121.
Yeah, I think he's made it very difficult for himself just looking at the rest of the field.
96.
As you say, if he can end on a positive note, then perhaps he can bring that into tomorrow. But Hendo's been consistent, a bit off the pace in this one, but
40.
felt he needed to find a treble there.
Agreed.
43.
Well, maybe he didn't, but if he does now find, for instance, a first maximum of the match, it will be the best time to get one.
41.
Last couple of visits have really come up wanting. He's only scored 81 with his last 6 darts.
70.
And that should be a red flag to a bull like Alec, because you're not going to get that kind of wilting from John Henderson very often. He's not going to get the 2-dart range here.
137.
But he's going to get mightily close to it.
152.
One more for double 16.
136.
Is that the only chance he gets to win tonight?
Only require 102.
That is the first match dart he's had all night long. And it might be the only one he gets. Oh, that's a pinch. And he's done that many times this week to get valuable points. Alex Small walks away from Thursday night and Friday morning without a penny to his name. And John Henderson is now on 6 points atop the table, but on the same leg difference as a certain John O'Shea. It wasn't a classic, but at the end, we saw a classic full-stop finish from the former World Cup winner. When we come back, it will be the other Scot in the group finishing his tally of the night against Tommy the Gun. Final game of the night, and it is England versus Scotland once again, as the gun goes up against the boss. That doesn't sound like a very unhostile working environment, does it? So, best of 7 for the last time tonight, and Montgomery has a chance to get himself onto 6 points with John O'Shea and John Henderson. But if he loses this match, curiously, he's going to be 4th overnight. Does that give you some sort of indication, Laura, as to how tight this group is?
It's Ross to throw first.
We said it beforehand. We thought that was going to be the case. But that stat there just kind of proves just how close it really is between those top 4.
Every time Montgomery comes here,
85.
he's going to feel like Drew McIntyre going into the Royal Rumble. It's never easy.
58.
I do warn you, if you're going to keep doing these WWE references, then I am most definitely going to have to bring up some Star Trek reference, especially when we've got Montgomery the Scot up there on the stage in front of us.
Bring it on. I'm willing to learn. Willing to learn. But they had Clash of the Castle, didn't they, in Glasgow last week, where Drew McIntyre was headlining. I do believe he was wearing a Rangers shirt. And his biggest rival at the minute, CM Punk, was wearing a Celtic shirt.
140.
Yep, make of that what you will.
Not even sure he's a Celtic fan.
Russia require
He's a hockey fan. He likes the Chicago Blackhawks. And we know that Ross Montgomery likes his American sport because he used to play American football.
$78.
Played on offense and defense when he was a player. Now that's what I call flexible.
80.
But this is all about offense.
58.
Double 10 then.
No score.
That's not the end of the world. If you bust a score and it's a big number, it feels like a huge failure. But if you bust something like 58, it doesn't feel as bad.
Russia require 58.
That's more of a reset, isn't it?
You still got to burn a dart to get there.
Game
And this time he fixes it.
Ross Montgomery.
Actually very similar to American football, that scenario.
Second leg, it's Tommy to throw first.
Let's say you've got 15 yards and you don't complete the pass. You have to stay where you are and try
60.
to get the 15 yards again with a second down. There he had first down in 58, which is a lot of yards to get. He misses that. Then he has to get it on second down. That's exactly what he did.
140.
But how frustrating will it be for Tommy Morris if he walks away tonight from his 4 games with only 2 points?
Yeah, very much. I think actually Tommy, he'll probably reflect on tonight, and just in the way that he's played hasn't been up to the standard that I think when he sets himself from his interview earlier and what we've seen so far this week. So
60.
I think there's a bit of work for Tommy to do, and I do think that's what he's going to think.
He started the night with a 4-2 victory against Small. Everybody's beaten Alec tonight, and he is in the doghouse. He's going to need to win every single game tomorrow and hope for a miracle.
180.
Miracles like that. And I suppose this is the kind of place where you can ask for miracles.
99. Russia require 121.
Looking for 301 and 6.
$42.
Morris tonight has found some very good finishes. But this is a step up from what we've seen from him here tonight.
Russia requires 79.
Yeah, and that reaction there from Morris, not happy with the way things are going.
That's an interesting play. That's one out of the Martin Adams playbook. but it works.
The second leg, Ross Montgomery.
If you listen very carefully,
The leg is
somewhere
Ross to
in the
throw
UK,
first. Game on.
somebody is howling. Can you hear it? Moving swiftly on.
100.
Yeah, it's that kind of play that I think if you've got a bit of a lead, no one really thinks twice about it, but it's risky, isn't it?
100.
I don't think it's right. But when they hit, there is nothing you can say about it. Darts is about completing shots.
43.
When you hit them, bravo. If you miss them, it's licensed for people like us sitting in these chairs saying, well, did you go the right route?
59.
Did you do the right thing? The way to keep us quiet is to hit what you're going for. And let's face facts, this is the Modus Super Series. And we are seeing more exuberance on finishing than ever before. It's almost become fashionable to hit more bullseyes and 3 double tops and
40.
all these different ways of going. Because everybody tunes into the social channels and says, well, if they can do it, I can do it as well.
It kind of brings you back to, was it Jared Cole? Had the 160, treble 20, ball. I mean, that was for different reasons. But, like you say, there's definitely this thing where everyone wants to go up there and just show them exactly what they can do.
Had an interesting comment in our chat from Brad saying that Ross looks like Ron Rivera. He's the former Washington football team coach and former coach of the Carolina Panthers. It's not the worst shout, actually. Watch out if this goes. It's not going to. And this time when he's got 79, he went straight for the 19s, which was the right thing to do. And so was that. That's a break of throw, and Tommy Morris is dancing around the stage like Rudolf Nureyev.
Tommy to throw first.
Yeah, a real sense of urgency there from Tommy Morris. He's focused, and sometimes this is where you see the best from him.
137.
I'm still waiting for the first Star Trek reference, Laura.
I'm being kind. Just wait till tomorrow night.
85.
They're going to dress like, is it Lieutenant Uhura or something like that?
No.
140.
Have you got any memorabilia? Anything like that?
No, I'm not much of a collector, which I know you are a collector of items. High quality items.
I'm a nerd. And a proud one. Although I did promise Chris Murphy this week that I would bring in my antique darts with the feather flights.
I think I've got a set of them somewhere. I don't count collecting darts as a collection.
Just part of the job, isn't it?
It is. I just like them.
135. Tommy Brook, 190.
Well, Tommy, you're changing your own fortunes here.
54.
And boys, he's starting to speed up. He's gone from semi-automatic to automatic. I can understand that play.
Tommy required 36.
And the single 3 gives him 1-3-2,
Game shot on the fourth,
which is a shot he's not even going to get a look at now.
Fifth leg, it's
Tommy
Ross
Morris
to
is
throw
currently
first.
sitting in 4th position. If he wins this match, he can go to 3rd.
140.
To bring Ross out of the top 3 for now. And this will be the first match of Friday night.
85.
I have absolutely no clue which 3 are going to qualify out of the 4 who can potentially qualify now.
I'm with you on that. It's
41.
Very, very difficult. I think the margins are going to be so fine. We've seen it before, and we've said it earlier, that Ross Montgomery, when he has qualified, has done it by the tightest of margins. And if he's going to do it, it looks like it's going to be much of the same.
I think the doubling tonight from some players has been excellent.
26.
John Henderson, 15 from 36 tonight. That's very tidy. 14 from 33 for John O'Shea.
59.
Maybe not as tidy for Tommy. Before this game started, he was 10 from 38. That's getting into that 1 out of every 4 bracket. That must improve.
100.
And he has had chances.
Yeah, and at key moments, he had opportunities, as we said, to beat John O'Shea.
83.
And you mentioned John O'Shea's stats there. I mean, 7 of those missed doubles came in the last match where he lost to Ross Montgomery.
I think the one thing that sings off the hymn sheet right now is the fact that Tommy Morris has had more darts at double in 3 matches than Hendo's had in 4.
Tommy require 134.
But he still has a chance of doubling his tally in the points.
43.
But visits like that will not
require 150.
help him whatsoever. Now, where have we seen this before? John O'Shea took it against Alex Small in Game 6, the highest finish of the night.
90. Tommy require 91.
Yeah, different route, different outcome for Ross Montgomery. Very much an old school player. And Tommy Morris now needs tops. Would be a break of throat.
Another big dart. And that double 10 has cost him so much
60.
in the last couple of days. Every time he misses it, somebody hits.
40.
But it hasn't happened this time.
Tommy require 20.
The tension on the stage. Palpable, to say the least.
Game
And he goes
shot
around the
50.
corner to take the lead.
Tommy Morris.
Who'd be a dart player
Sinclair
here? The
gets Tommy to
stress.
throw first. Game on.
You can kind of feel the tension from here, and you can see that disappointment in Ross Montgomery's face. That
100.
Darts is a wonderful game. The broad spectrum of the sport is something to behold. But as a player, you feel exhausted after nights like this.
140.
it's one of those things, isn't it? As a player, I'm sure you probably felt the same thing. You're playing a match and you think, why am I doing this to myself? Then you whack in a big score, hit a double, and you think, yeah, I love it. And it's just, it can change your emotions and the way you feel so quickly.
There are sports that are
26.
Well, how can you describe them?
54.
There's got to be something wrong with you to play it at a certain level. I've been often asked, how do you get on that stage and do that? And I don't necessarily have an answer, apart from desire.
137.
And even at these guys' ages, although I hope Ross doesn't mind me saying this, Tommy is half Ross's age. They still both have a lot of desire.
$83. Tommy requires 70.
This is a chance to get to the top three. One dart.
54.
Which slips by. He took that one very quick. His pause that he stepped back for didn't last very long. He's going to persevere on the 60 and find it.
96. Tommy requires
Now Tommy has a
60.
chance to finish the night in a qualifying position, provisionally. And that's where he will finish. So Montgomery will come back on Friday night and play against Morris in game 1, but he will do so from position number 4. They are separated by the very finest of margins, these two. But in the first battle of 2, that one goes to the Englishman. He wins by 4 legs to 2. And when we come back, we'll wrap up the first night of action in Group B.
Wasn't that an eventful evening? Laura, what do you think? A really eventful evening indeed, and very up and down for certain people. Let's have a look at the results and see if we can extrapolate the information that we need for the table that we'll see in due course. But we do know that Alex Small has... Well, we can say that he's failed this evening, but he could be a spoiler for tomorrow night because it doesn't look like he's going to qualify.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just left himself far too much to do. He was unlucky in that match against Henderson, carved out a few more opportunities, but just hasn't been his night. But as you say, he could prove to be very interesting, maybe a bit more relaxed tomorrow and maybe upset a few of the players looking for a top 3 spot.
Let's start with John O'Shea then. How do you think he's feeling after what can be described as a very good start this week?
Yeah, he's been very strong, very solid throughout. It was unfortunate to lose that last match, but just ran into a very strong Montgomery. But overall, he'll be, I think, coming out of this group with 6 points in day 1. I think he should be very, very happy. He played very well throughout the night.
He was very competitive, wasn't he? You think about the fact that he won his first 2 games 4 legs to 3. And that shows that his game's in a pretty good spot. He's always been a battler. But when you're not playing your ultimate best, he's still able to get the results.
Yeah, he was just confident on throw as well, wasn't he? He was so strong, so solid, as you say. But yeah, overall for me, John's probably been the most consistent in terms of the level. And we were kind of unsure about him coming in a bit cold. How will he stack up? Yeah, we didn't have to worry. He was outstanding from the start.
What did you make of John Henderson tonight? Because his route to his points tally was just a bit more ragged than John O'Shea's.
Yes, I think John will be happy that he's at the top of the table and picked up the points that he actually picked up. But as you say, wasn't all plain sailing. I mean, the 1-2-1 was wonderful against Tommy Morris. But yeah, as you say, perhaps our expectation was very high for John Henderson because of what we'd seen from him this week and coming into Group B. Just, different players didn't quite find that form straight away.
How do you think Ross Montgomery is feeling right now? After that last match?
I don't want to talk to him right now. I would honestly say, yeah, he'll be disappointed because the last couple of legs there, he had opportunities at the double. He could have won that. And I think as a dart player, that is the most frustrating thing. It's when you actually get the opportunity and then kind of blow it at the end. So disappointed, I'm sure, right now. And he's 4th on the table.
Well, as far as Tommy Morris is concerned, when he was trying to get into Group B via Group A, he did so by winning his last match. He's won his last match tonight to get into a provisional spot into 3rd. And we can look at the table now, so we can see Tommy in 3rd position, and he's got John O'Shea and John Henderson above him. What do you make of the table as it stands?
Yeah, as we've already mentioned, I think for Alex it's going to be a bit bit too difficult. But for the likes of, 1 to 4, you've got 2 points between them. You're talking about leg difference at the moment, but I think leg difference could be key. We've seen it previously. It's going to be tight, and I imagine there's going to be more of the same tomorrow.
Do we have any hope whatsoever for Alex Small?
I'm always an optimist. I'm very much a glass half full person, but yeah, it's difficult. I think when you lose all of them, and when you've got a group as tight as what it is, okay, he's a couple of wins behind. You could hope that someone else, kind of trips up themselves, but you need at least 2 people to trip up tomorrow. So difficult, I think.
Well, thanks for tonight, Laura. It's been great to have you with us, and you'll be with us on Friday night as well. So we look forward to seeing you then. And we look forward to seeing you as well, because we hope you can join us from 1 o'clock for the climax of Group C. We'll see what happens with Rhys Robinson leading that table from a little bit later on today, because we are into the early hours of Friday. But as for Group B here tonight, we have got John O'Shea and John Henderson at the top of the table, and we'll see the climax of that come Friday night as well. I've been Paul the Nicholson. That's been Laura Turner. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday afternoon.